And welcome back, everyone, to our first week of NECC play for League of Legends here at Valpo Esports. I'm your host, Dikembe. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm dreadful. Nice to be here.
It feels good to be back, honestly. I mean, first week back, a lot of changes coming into the jungle, a lot of changes coming into just overall play, right? A lot of bruiser nerfs, as a top laner yourself. A lot of those champs have been a little bit gutted with their items, right?
Yep.
Their
Yeah.
ability haste gone, right? A lot of Omnivent taken away, Clips kind of getting that little bit of a nerf. But honestly, all those kind of nerfs and then the buffs to bot side, I think we're gonna see. Last season we talked about it being a bot prio a lot of the time, but I really think this season it's gonna be huge on how teams first pick, how teams second pick with how their ADC drafts.
Oh yeah.
You're right. The Infinity Edge buffs, the Navori's quick play buffs. We've seen so many Navori's quick play builds kind of emerge, right? Earlier before our stream, we were talking about that Ezreal Navori's build where it goes into the Essence Reaver, into Navori's, into the Kraken, right?
Oh yeah.
And then we talked about also having Lucian Navori's. Now that having that cooldown reduction as well, you can build that second, especially after a Gale Force. Gale Force being insanely strong, giving him that extra buff and that extra dash. Um, the execute is just insane on him. Run first strike, and he's generating 300 gold in engage. Um, so these kind of builds, this buff to the bot side, I think, as we're going to see in this game, especially in the first week, really across the board for NECC, we're going to see a lot of pathing down. We're going to see a lot of bot prio, and we're going to see a lot of action. I think it's going to be a lot more engage heavy.
Oh, completely. The game's gonna be won or lost by the bot lane, and honestly, these two teams, I feel like, they much so are. I think their ADK was Masters last season,
Yep.
and Karis themselves is just really, really good and just really cracked. So we got two kind of titans in the bot lane clashing up against each other,
Hmm.
and I'm excited to see what happens. It's a bit of a shame we don't get the 13.3 patch that's
Yep.
got delayed till tomorrow.
Yep.
So Eamon is going to be completely unleashed on those engaged supports, but I think in the weeks to come, the shift from enchanter meta to more towards engaged support meta
Yep.
is going to be a real big boon for us.
Oh, definitely. I mean, right as it starts to kind of get away from those supports where it's a lot more staying back in the front lines, right, or staying back in the back lines. We know Steamroller as someone who likes to engage, who knows when to play their role, how to play their spacing. It's kind of something that he specializes in, especially with champions like Tarek, like Nautilus, that he likes to play and get in early. He knows where he can be and where he can't be. So obviously, we're not on that patch right now, but as that patch will come in, I think we're going to see a lot more of an aggressive bot lane. As you know, Thunk Senpai Karis, our ADC, as you talked about, he's a little bit nasty, right?
Oh yeah.
But he really shows his skill expression when he's up there fighting, right? There's plenty of power farmers that you can play. There's plenty of like ways that you can play safe, but Karis just never does, right? That's not how he
Oh yeah.
does. He plays the game aggressively. Aiming complements this really well, and I think we're going to see a lot of action coming out in the spot lane.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing they both play the Lucian and the Ezreal, both
Yep,
incredibly strong in this patch, tier 0
yep,
picks, and it looks like we're just getting the draft to see what these first couple of bands are.
definitely. And I mean, I think we also have to mention a little bit Sivir being a huge mark in this draft right now as well. Knowing Bethel Pilots' ADC likes to play that Kaisa, likes to play that Sivir, um, and Valpo coming out with the first ban Lucian and Kaisa. Uh, obviously, we see the two mid bans. What nothing's new.
Yeah.
Nothing's new. You MF Jackimbo gets targeted first three bans all the
Oh,
time,
all three.
and there goes
Yeah.
the Silas. Yep. But I mean, Valpo Esports is coming right back and banning out all the ADCs, like we talked about, Sivir, Kaisa, Lucian.
Yep.
Um, all insanely, insanely strong. But Ezreal is open right now. Bethel Pilot's
And
going
the
with the first pick,
Vi
Vi.
pick.
Vi,
Okay.
Vi is a seriously strong jungler right now, especially rushing that chem tank, right? Rushing that kind of is it chem tank or chem tech?
So it was a
Or is it chem punk?
Chem Punk
Chem punk
Chainsword.
chainsword. That's right. Yep.
However,
There
if
we
we
are.
see her rush the Chem Punk in a situation where you don't really need that healing reduction, Black Cleaver is just better on this patch. It
Hmm.
gives the same stats but better. And the recently buffed Black Cleaver is like the only good thing we got for top lane.
Hmm.
But
And we
you see the Draven pick.
Yep. We we talked about Karis being aggressive. Nobody more aggressive than the smirking man himself, the face of T1. Tyler one screaming in that bot lane, you know it's Draven. I mean, having Karis playing this character, you have to follow up with some strong engage here to just peel for him. And Valpo Esports drafting probably this Maokai here. I like this pick into the Vi,
Oh, yeah.
especially with how strong Maokai is right now. Um, you just need to be able to peel really hard. Maokai's
Uh,
W allows him to peel backwards really easily, especially when Vi likes to dash and R to the backside.
espe
Um,
oh yeah, completely. Especially with the new Maokai build that's been on the rise, the
mhm.
demonic and or radiant virtue or the Leandries, whatever way if you want the more damage, if you want the more ability haste and healing,
Yep.
it's incredibly strong pick.
And I think the Zaya Rakan here just giving a little bit of synergy in this bot lane. Obviously, getting the empowered E for Rakan, getting the recalls as well. I think it's a smart idea, at least trying to synergize. We do see the Taric pick as
And
well.
it's the lock.
I
That,
mean,
that's his champ. Yeah.
yeah, it's his champ, and as we've heard Steamroller talk about before, if you're gonna take a melee champion into him, if you're gonna take a melee support into him, he's gonna run Taric,
Oh yeah,
right?
completely.
Like it's a great pick. Taric is always going to outsustain what other supports that you run melee in that bot lane. Um, I mean, the Zyra Rakan, I can see where it's coming from, especially when you have a strong fighter like Draven. Oh,
The, the potential five
we
mid lane
could have the
bans.
five ban
The
here,
five
and they
banner.
also banned your
Oh.
Camille. Um, we do our top laner this game is Anaya, who isn't really known for playing Camille. Unless she like dropped a couple of games later, but
I
I
I haven't seen her play it. She's mainly on the tanks
the
and that kind of
tankers,
thing.
yeah,
Yep.
definitely. I mean, Valpo's looking probably just to ban out top side here.
The
No, there's a
Galio.
Galio ban.
Okay.
Uh, I can see where that's coming
I
from.
can
I
see
mean,
it.
a lot of the characters that Jakimbo likes to play are those AP mages, right? Galio just kind of being a menace towards them, especially if you're looking for the Azir pick. Galio can be really hard. Galio can be a really tough matchup for that Azir, and it being open as the five ban did go out. I mean, getting the Akali, Cass, Silas, Victor, and Anivia. You still have the Talia open. You still have your Jace open even, and there's the
Easier?
Azir. Yep.
Alright. This has been a staple pick for pro play for I don't know how long.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
always good.
I mean,
And there you go.
we should have expected it. Azir is probably the hardest late game scaler that we have in the game. Syndra from Bethel Pilots' side.
You
I
know,
mean, I can see it. Obviously, Azir's strongest lane
yeah.
capability is being able to zone people with his W as
Ooh.
well. Ooh,
That's
Bethel Pilots taking the Mundo.
I guess it's kind of hard to pick the Mordekaiser here, um, with which is one of Anaya's generally one of the better answers into tanks and stuff, as we already have an AP mid and AP jungle.
Yep.
But honestly, with their comp, I feel like if they, instead of Syndra they had gone something like the Kassadin, that would have been really good.
Mhm.
But they might not play, might be too scared to. And there's the
There's a
Fiora.
Fiora. I mean, yeah, if you're looking for tank shred, you have tank shred and Fiora. Fiora going a little bit down because of the new like bruiser item nerf.
Yeah.
To falling off a little bit of her pedestal, but she still does boast that strong true damage capability, right? Her scalings are still there. She just it's
Yep.
a little bit harder to abuse
Yeah.
her now.
It's more of a 3 item spike than that super hard 2 item spike. But
Definitely. I
y-
mean, talking about our mid lane pick here, with the Azir, I think knowing how many bans there were and knowing that you have the Galio ban in your pocket, I think this is an okay matchup, quite frankly. I know obviously it might not have set up the top lane to be the most favorable pick in the world because
oh
you are
yeah.
going that 3 AP, with that if you were to choose that Mordekaiser, but with Azir, right, we talked about it. His strongest laning capability is the ability to zone, right? He zones really hard. He can um, chip really hard. Sorry.
Yep.
He can chip really hard and then he can dash back, right? He plays very safe, and with his R, he has a lot of team fight capability. It's the greatest thing for him, right? You take Syndra now, who has increased range. You have the pushback as well, pushing Azir out of range of whatever his minions are, right? It's leaves you to be a little bit safer, I feel like, in this lane.
Yeah, the range advantage is gonna be really nice for the Sindri. However, I will say,
Hmm.
in one of Azir's other greatest strengths, and this can be seen in the Azir Victor matchup and any control mage really, is the how he can punish mages who don't have their flash.
Yep,
Just that Shrima shuffle into the Maokai gank
definitely.
is deadly, and
Hmm.
it's one of the reasons why we've seen just Azir just always is it remains in pro play.
I mean, definitely. You're right. Big skill expression when it comes to Azir. Not only is just Shurima shuffling, but it's also counting cooldowns. When you
Counting.
face
Oh
AP
yeah.
mages like this, right, you're looking for that Syndra to blow her abilities, right? You have that one combo that a lot of Syndras like to use to clear wave, right? You Q, you E, you W, in any order of such. So once you see that as Azir, you have your dash in,
Oh
and
yeah.
then you have your jump back.
Post six. The Syndra ever uses her E. You can just even just ult her, just the ult her, just to get the trade off, force her to the back.
Yep.
And I'm really happy. I was a little nervous until they picked the Azir because we had. I mean, Maokai is good engage. Taric is more counter engage. In the Maokai, the only long range engage that they've got is his ult. But I think if we're supplementing the Azir into the comp, he gives a lot of need more peel, and they've kind of just all in on the concept of they're gonna engage into us, we're gonna let them, and we're gonna win.
Yep. I mean, you have a lot, like you said, we have a lot of peel for that back line. You have this kind of side lane pressure that you need in Fiora. You have someone that can force people out so that they're not constantly 5v4ing, because obviously we want them to come engage with the setup that we have, but you can't just let them keep engaging over and over
Oh
and over
no.
again, right? If somebody bangs their head against the wall long enough, eventually they'll break through. Um, but having that side lane pressure now with Fiora, you have backline peel for I'm thinking Vi ult here, right?
Yep.
Obviously, you have the Vi ult, you have the Zaya ult being able to push in, and then you have Rakan as well running in charm. So I'm thinking with those engages, you have Maokai R to keep Rakan maybe from running in. You have the Azir shuffle to be able to dash to backline. You have Maokai W to bash. You have Taric stun, especially if he's linked to Draven already, right? There's so many ways to kind of play into how they engage that I think the biggest way that Valpo can get an advantage here is positioning themselves. They can't allow themselves to be engaged on when they're not together,
Yeah.
right?
The second they step away from the protection of the Terrigal is when an engage will just get deadly. Because the
Yep.
amount of lockdown that they have between the Vi, between the Syndra, between the Xayah and the Rakan, all of their CC, um, I can see this is going to be a relatively dangerous comp to play against.
Yep.
But if they play their cards right and they don't mistime the Taric ults and the Makai ults and the Azir ults,
Hmm.
they should be able to tear this game apart. I don't
Definitely.
see anybody who's going to be able to lane into Fiora in the late game,
Yep.
and it should just be um, you can't necessarily rely on completely outscaling them because they do have that Zion, that Syndra, but I
Mhm.
think mid game fights are definitely to their advantage around the 2-3 item mark.
Yep. I mean, you have to be slippery this game. You can't, especially I'm thinking from Dunk Senpai's perspective here, you cannot get caught out.
No.
Because like you said, there's so much CC on the other team. You spend even 2 seconds on vision without your teammates, you're done for.
Oh yeah.
Because either Vi will jump in, you have Syndra stun, you have Zaya root, you have Rakan jump in,
Yep.
right? All of these things are just so prone, especially with Draven who has no movement,
Nope.
right? So I don't know. I think positioning will be a great, great aspect of this game. Like you said, they do have some really hard scalers, so it's not exactly a we're gonna play to this point until we beat you kind of game, but it's definitely a game where, okay, I have to be conscious of where I am every time, right? Because sometimes you can fall into a lull, you can go, okay, I'm going to top lane here, like most of my other matches, right? All right, mid lane swaps the bot, bot swaps the mid, blah blah blah. This is a game where you have to really think about where you're going, because if you're not conscious of, hey, okay, we're swapping here, let's rotate for drag here, against a bunch of CC like this, 3v3s can turn into 3v2s, right? 4v3s can happen really quickly, engage happens really fast. You have to know where your team is.
Yeah, especially with this bot-centric meta, a lot of the pressure is on those supports to secure that vision
Yep.
because against this team, vision is going to be everything. Making sure that we're also roaming is like in a pack and you're
Yep.
not going off alone is big because the amount of CC and lockdown is one person, they get caught out, they might blow their ultimates on them, but they'll be back in 45 to 60 seconds.
Yep.
And if they time it right, it's just a lot of free objectives. So, but
Definitely.
Valpo definitely has the tools to combat it.
Yep. No, I mean, we've seen them work on rotations before. We've seen them really play together, right? Multiple times, right? We practiced mid roaming in with jungle being able to invade, knowing what side you're playing aggressively on, right? Being able to swap lanes based on objectives. These are all basic things that, esports or League of Legends esports at least you have to master. You have to put down, and I think this is a great game to actually test
Yeah, we'll have to see if us, the returning champions from last season,
that.
will be able to go after the same kind of start that we were last season. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's obviously first game of NECC, right? Anything can go, anything can happen, but I have a lot of faith in this team. I have a lot of faith in the players that we have, and I think it should be a really, really exciting first game. And also rocking the World's 2022 Azir. We
Oh
got
yeah.
MF Jakimbo in that mid lane. Gotta love
Beautiful
it.
skin. Beautiful skin.
Gotta love it. Pool Party Tarek, classic. I
Yeah.
mean,
They got the pool
what can
party
you say?
bot lane. And they're
Yeah.
really skin energized.
But honestly, out of all of these, Corporate Mundo wins. Let's be honest.
Is it?
Corporate Mundo is like one of the best skins of the game.
Oh, obviously.
It's so beautiful. His mini little car that he rides on too, it makes me so happy. It's just like he's like a little man driving to his little work, doing the little thing. I love him, man. But no.
Yeah.
League of Legends.
Looks like we're having a little bit of spectator errors here, but hopefully this gets rectified
The map
relatively shortly.
map looking beautiful here. Hmm.
All right, and just please wait us this one moment as we kind of log in here, load back into the game.
We love League of Legends. We love League of Legends client. We are Riot Games enjoyers. We love Riot Games. And we are almost back here. We have to load in a little bit more.
There
And
we
there we
go.
are. Looks like we did not miss much here. Just a little bit of CS going on, a couple of chips. We do see both Maokai and Vi taking that green pet, which is pretty normal. I mean, green pet still is the strongest pet in the game, unless you're playing like a Nunu or something where it's very based on speed. Maybe a Hecarim, but even then Hecarim can take that green pet. A
Yep.
couple of chips here, Jacob. I want you to talk about a little bit. What's this matchup like in the top lane, especially regarding Fiora chips with the a little bit of an engage going in the backside.
Oh, and Valpo won that trade really handily. Well, the Mundo Fiora matchup is honestly, it's really free. It's so easy for the Fiora. Just that percentage max HP damage into an HP stacker is just it's the ideal situation to be honest.
Mhm.
Now, if the Mundo does get ahead, can run you down. It's it can happen,
Mhm.
but you know, most of the time in solo queue you see the Mundo with like the Ghost or something along those sorts,
We have a
and
huge engage here in this
oh,
bot lane as well. The exhaust and the ignite coming out, and we have the flashing from the Vi as well. Draven picking up the kill on Rakan, but Vi picking up the kill on Draven as well. Steamroller falling to Xayah, and that's going to be a 2-for-1 trade in this bot side with an early gank by Vi. We're seeing Maokai just finish this clear a little bit slower, which makes sense, and Vi is going to be able to jump on him in this jungle here. Getting a little bit of vision, forcing him to back. Probably both going to take some backs here. Vi might look for something in this mid lane here, but Emma Kimbo seems to have it a little bit locked down with a lot of vision going around.
kind of poking down, and
Yep.
wasn't the worst thing in the world. To kill on Draven early is nice. You get the shutdown, the
Hmm.
first blood, and the adoration stacks proc.
Yep.
Looks like Jakimbo is pushing out the Syndra. She's almost run and is almost being pushed out of lane.
Hmm.
And those little saplings are, well,
Yeah, I
that
mean,
we all love it.
as we're gonna see, right, Vi's one of her strongest thing is that early to mid game, right? And good junglers will take advantage of that early mid game, send a couple of ganks through, be able to get their gold up, get their team advantage, so that when it comes to that late game, Vi isn't exactly the hardest scaler in the world. Falls off a little bit in that late game, but if you give your team enough of an advantage, that does not matter. You have enough engage and you have enough point and click CC that you can make up for it by setting your team up.
Yep. Now, what I'm going to be looking for in the bot lane more so is when we see these Rakan Ws, if the Draven can throw out his stand aside, the CC, it completely shuts down the Rakan engage.
Yep.
Obviously, it's a little bit hard at the time, but I
Yeah.
know. But if anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be Thong Senpai.
Yeah, it is a split second shot here. You have to remember it's kind of that balance of, okay, am I going to use that to, do I interrupt the CC from Rakan? And there's the flash and the knockup as well. Vi coming in as well. The stun coming out from Tarek. Steamroller, Thunk Senpai getting dunked on again. And Steamroller being forced to back up. I mean, we've seen, right, it's bot prio. Bot prio, bot prio, bot prio. That's what we're all looking for here. Makai's still clearing up farm a little bit. We have to kind of look what he's yeah, we have to kind of think like what he's seeing here, because we have Dragon up, and it looks like BU will take early drag.
Yeah, it's the Vi ganking the bot. You got the flash the first time around, and but the Rakan still had their flash up and was able to capitalize on the flashless Draven. And I mean, there wasn't a ton that Thong Senpai could do in that situation. Um, Obviously, you see the Maokai's up in camps for now,
Hmm.
and but the lead that they've gotten bot side is pretty monumental, to be honest.
Yep.
And-
I mean, pressure, being able to push up CS lead, it's what you need, especially if you're going to be looking for these early objectives.
Oh,
Vi playing
100%.
that bot side, we just have to look at here, how is Valpo's jungle going to respond to this? What is Vector looking for in this jungle?
Now we see the win con for in this team comp for Bethel is definitely the Xayah here, the late game scaling that it provides.
Hmm.
So we're gonna have to watch how the rest of this bot lane goes. Um, it should get monumentally easier for the Draven Taric lane at level 6 when they have those cooldowns and
Yep.
against the engage. But until then, it's kind of a toss up. See who can utilize those leads.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of vision control here, right? Obviously, those early kills are going to give that support a little bit of an advantage, being able to get that vision out as bot lane of Oppo side is just trying to catch up at first.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's the Rakan's been able to roam pretty effectively, set up that vision control, make
Hmm.
sure that the Zir can't get too greedy in the harassing of the Syndra. As we saw earlier in the lane, he was chunking her out to pretty low.
Yep. A couple of shots here. I mean, biggest one thing I do want to point towards is that having the Azir take that arcane comment, right? Take that kind of chip is helping out for times like this. You see the Maokai run in as well, the E come out, but not being able to hit much. As Syndra does get away, probably looking for a back here, just a reset. Vi still being on blue buff. And we do have the
Oh,
knockup of the knockup missing, dashing away before the Taric stun can hit.
that was really well played by Karis, running out of that W knockup range. It's a
Yep.
shame that they couldn't get the follow-up CC, but they're gonna get a lot of CS here, and if they get it all, they'll be up bot lane.
Yep, and I mean, if I'm Rakan in this situation, I'm doing exactly that. I want to be able to dash in, but I'm waiting for that Teriki. I
Oh.
know that I have one of the quickest backouts, right? If Zaya is still behind me, I'm not necessarily looking for okay, let's all in here. But it looks like there will be a stun here after the E is done. The Maokai root coming out as well. Steamroller getting hit by the Zaya root. Zaya doing a lot of damage. The knock up back from Vector, pushing Rakan out the way, trying to get that kill, but just being out of auto range. The flash with the kill, trading one for one, and Zaya being able to back them up. Just rough running out of that auto.
Yep, it's a real shame. They really wanted to get that kill onto the Draven and thought the auto attack would be enough, so they
Hmm.
did not end up applying the ignite or the exhaust onto him. But that's a little bit of foresight that you can't always know in game in these hectic situations. Looks like Vice starting up on the Rift Herald here.
Hmm.
It looked like for a second they were positioning for a gank, but it's pretty tough to gank the Fiora when your CC is so telegraphed on the Vi,
Yep.
and that could easily lead to dead 1v2.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing we haven't talked about, but it's so essential to Fiora's kit is knowing, all right, what abilities can I W? Right, what am I looking for? Am I looking for more of that damage reduction? Am I looking to stun someone else, right? If we're talking Mundo here, not exactly so much CC that you can really like W forwards, but right like you said, Vi having such telegraph CC really just makes it free to stun.
Map size, so we can get our objective timers back.
Yep. I mean, minute up on the drag, Rift Herald getting cleared. It we have to look at jungle pathing here, right? We have to look at what people are looking for because now this bot has a ton of priority. That Zaya is just a demon, absolute demon right now. So knowing that drag, if I'm Valpo here, do I try and bring that Azir who has not really like much on that Syndra here? Do I try and coin flip that he gets there first, or do I just give this drag?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this stage in the game, the wave clear advantage definitely is more towards the Syndra's side. If the Syndra is willing to blow all the cooldowns, it leads her susceptible to ganks, but um, the map rotation that she provides in like a dive bot lane would be really devastating at this moment.
Yep. I mean, we see a couple of pings here. Looks like the bot lane is just trying to maybe either push up to dive or just have Vi and use them as a little bit of bait. Vi sitting on that vision there, just kind of blocking it off. I think VU doesn't know.
Yeah,
But
I just can't speak enough to how good Jikimbo is. If you saw, he dodged at least 4 Syndra Qs there and the EQ, and is just playing this matchup perfectly. Obviously, it's a
he's a little bit shifty on the mouse.
yeah.
We love to see it. But now this is the rotation we're talking about, right? BU knowing that they have the advantage is gonna start up this drag here. Just looking down. A little bit of a knock up, the stun on Rakan, the R coming out from Maokai as well. Maokai being able to jump in, the R coming from Rakan, the Vi ult as well. Zaya picking up one kill, huge Taric ult coming out a little bit just too late there. The
Oh, and
flash
the
and the
Taric
stun
flash.
being able to hit down. Steamroller going down a lot though after dropping the Vi. It's just Maokai and Draven up against 3. The bot lane of BU and Syndra here. A lot of damage going out from that Maokai E.
Oh, and the
Getting hit by
Syndra
that
E.
stun as well, both knockups, but a lot of damage. Zaya backing up, so not being able to follow up on the dual CC there. And it looks like it's just going to be a stalemate here as BU's looking to back up.
Daster, the side of Valpo, it's those kills are just going on the exact worst person to have here. The more gold that Zaya gets, the less and less she has to care about Draven, and as she just completely outscales him here. But
Yep.
looking at a Blade of the Ruin King being built by Fiora on top side, and it looks like they're starting up in the drag now.
Yep. It looks like VU is just trying to rush this here, making sure that that Vi isn't going to get a free like dash in and maybe steal smite. But in response to that, right, dropping that Rift Herald mid, it might be a little bit late, allowing for Maokai to rotate back over. It looks like it will only get one charge off here.
Yep. And Vi is the one who got all the plates, none of the gold
And the
going
flash
on
and
to
W on
Syndra.
Vector as well. Steamroller walking up the stun too. Syndra getting knocked up, being pushed back because Rakan jumps in as well, saving just enough.
Yeah, and that fight, look, that engage, really good engage, but it really disjointed and it was not being. It seems like you get a little bit of communication issue with Chikimbo.
I think right now VU is putting together engages like that where they just don't have the damage for it,
Not yet.
right? Knowing that Jakimbo is still back clearing that wave, still forced to be under his tower somewhat, you can't flash and jump in like that. Obviously, saw an opportunity, you have to take it, but they just with him and Steamroller, you still don't have enough damage, especially knowing that that other support's probably rotating up too.
Now you can see here, Syndra's in a bit of a pickle.
Yep.
She's low, under half HP, no flash. The Zero does have the flash and the ultimate, and is currently just repeatedly pushing her under the tower. She's not basing and trying because she didn't have her TP up at the time, and is scared of losing the minions. But it looks like Jakimbo's got a good back here. He's probably gonna pick up the Leandries, and hopefully that will be able to supplement some of the much needed damage on Valpo's side.
Yep. I mean, we see we you have Vi topside as well. The R coming out
Oh.
on this Fiora. The parry just coming a little bit too late. The flash over the wall, maybe looking to dash away here.
Yeah, and it looks like Anaya was not able to get off the ultimate or the W onto the Wilds.
And the dash as well. It looks like one more punch from Vi. That will be it. We have another engage in this bot lane as well. Tarek R coming up. The ignite on Rakan. Tarek being forced to back up. Another engage in this jungle as well. Just kind of disjointed. Syndra taking down Vector as well. VU is just all over the place at the moment. Bethel's playing pretty coordinated together, that kind of playing around this jungle. Um, but VU really needs to just kind of stick together at this point.
Yeah,
These kind of like late follow-ups that they have, kind of running around other side jungle, is just really costing them.
yeah, no, the repeated just random deaths to miscommunication is really being punished here by Bethel, and they do. I will say they look more coordinated right now. Um, Obviously, I think right now, I'd have my money on Valpo's comp with their everybody's item to item, but you know, Fiora has the she can look to kill the Mundo here potentially. Oh, it opts out of it.
Yep. I mean, if you're in her spot, you don't have vision on that Vi, right? You have to be careful again jumping in. We do have a shuffle coming in this mid lane as well. Syndra being tossed out, but the slow from Jakimbo jumping in, and the Q there as well. One more auto, but the burn from Leandries will take her, finishing off and evening up this lane in the mid.
The pure mastery out of the side of Dishkimbo, and it looks like the Zaya is not building the quick blades or the IE second.
Going that LD first, LDR first. I mean,
I I honestly do not see any good reason to build it. You have no armor stackers on the side of Valpo. It looks like a TP's coming in.
and
Good
we do
flash
have
away.
two flashes coming out. The TP coming in this bot lane as well. Mundo is here. The stun from Steamroller. Steamroller might get caught out here. Heartsteel procking from Mundo. Another dash and another kill going to Zaya.
Yeah. It's like they're trying to capitalize on how pushed up the bot lane was. But, you know, honestly, support for tier 1 tower, not the worst thing in the world. Um, oh,
And we
it
do
looks
have
like
the
a
flash
dive.
and the R coming in from Vi as well. The R coming out from Zaya. Vector just not being enough as it is 4 in this bot side with Mundo still there. You do see they're giving mid tower for MF Chikimbo, rotating that Syndra up top side, and Rift being dropped down on this bot side as well. They're going to try and finish this tower before he gets the charge off. And there he goes. So it's going to be a full health going on this tier 2 here. Valpo's going to have to look to rotate over just to stop a little bit of the bleeding.
Yeah, it's a little tragic that we're not trying to get anything on the other side of the map, but you know, it's a bit tough. You know, these Zeus poking out are doing a good job. But and Fiora can look for the all in here. Oh, gets a parry, but decides not to go in.
Yep. Quite frankly, I mean, you have vision on most of them. You know that the other bot laners just back back. If I'm Fiora there, I'm going in,
Oh
right?
yeah,
But
100%.
then again, we don't know plans that they have. You do have Dragon up here. You might need Fiora TP for it. Or actually, Fiora TP is down. But Valpo might just be organizing something a little bit different.
You know, and it's okay to be playing safe after they've kind of fallen behind only a little
Yep.
bit, and it looks like they're trying to get the second drag
But the
before.
drag will reset here, and they are gonna back off of it.
Thought it was too
No, the
risky.
drag doesn't reset. Okay, it healed a little bit, but now it's just shooting aim, and
Yeah, I mean, they're
they are
losing.
gonna
They're just
take this mid tower here for it. Valpo is gonna get the dragon advantage here unless it gets stolen, but it doesn't look like it will as Smite goes down, Dragon Tit's taken, but Valpo is looking at a little bit of a like a mid lane open. Obviously now BU
pick,
has
no?
evened it up. Oh, we do have a huge engage here though. The
They can
speed
give
up
this
and then the
Draven, that's
dash as well.
huge.
The flash, the knock, just Mundo's healing is insane at the moment. Fiora dashing in, missing that stun, gain the parry and the
There you
dash as
go.
well, getting that shut down.
Yeah, big shutdown. Oh, and it looks like they won't be able to sight speed. Oh, it's so close.
Yep, just out of reach. It looks like
Oh, that's
Amon's
a
just
flash.
following and gets the flash out of Syndra as well.
That's really big. That's gonna be down for any of the next fights. It's gonna be down for Dragon. It's gonna be down for Baron if they look for it, and it's gonna be really scary for her on the sideline, playing into both Fiora and Azir, both champions that can really complicate, not complicate, take advantage of their lack of mobility.
Yep. I mean, I think right now, as we're gonna see here, um, this gold lead is really sitting in this Xayah and Vi, right? Um, kind of the people that are going to control this jungle. You're gonna have that Xayah sent probably to that mid lane to look around for a little bit. You're gonna have that Vi being able to take objectives. I think VU just has to be able to group around knowing where those two people are. And there's a huge ult as well. The ult coming out from Steamroll and the flash as well, the knockaway. Just being invulnerable, a lot of chip damage going on MF Chikimbo, but he's just trading back in that mid lane.
Yeah, that was. We lost the ult on Taric and the Taric flash, but both of which will be up before this next dragon, so it's not the end of the world.
Hmm.
But you just gotta be really careful about walking onto pre-established vision.
Yep. I mean, we see right here, it's just even hard to step up against this Xayah right now. Even to farm, you have to kind of let it push back at you.
Yeah,
Couple of pings here as well coming out from blue side. They might be looking to set up for maybe vision around Baron, maybe one last reset before they go to Baron, or they might just start it right now.
I mean, I think
Yep,
they
and there he goes.
saw. I think they saw the Maokai go over down, but it looks like Valpo has vision on the Baron is moving over, but can they get there in time?
I don't think that Nolan will get there in time. Vector will, but I think that at least they can walk up a little bit. Probably the Draven are coming out. Yep, there it is, but blue team's still taking it. Anaya being caught in this bout lane here, this backside as well. Xayah cleaning up two, Azir being able to pick up the Rakan as well. Xayah picking up three, making it four. A quadra kill coming out,
That's the stun.
and there's the shuffle as well. And there's the dash back.
Oh, he's
Just
out.
over the wall, might be out of this one. Vi dashing over, MF Chikimbo just slowly escaping, but the
Oh.
ace coming out to that Syndra. Quadra kill from Xayah there, being able to play. And quite frankly, I mean, they take Baron. I think they just run this mid here.
Yeah,
They can at least pick up tier 3 inhibitor.
yep, and they'll be able to pick up that top tower too. It's not looking good. It looks like Valpo's just kind of been outscaled at this point, and it's well, they're gonna have to try to capitalize a little bit better on like any team fight. They're gonna have
Yep.
to look for picks and that kind of thing, and I don't think they win the 5v5 anymore.
I mean, it's just rough because knowing that that drag is down, it's really hard to commit on a couple of these fights, right? We talked about positioning a lot, and it's kind of just been BU has rotated really seamlessly this game, right? You have to give them credit. They've been moving around. That early lead that they got by ganking that bot side was not wasted
No,
because
not at all.
they immediately rotated objective. They immediately went towers. They were willing to sack certain dragons for towers, right? Get that kind of pressure that you need. Um, this kind of rotation is what we talked about early in this game. Now that you have that pressure, now that you can catch a VU out of position, right? You have the CC to back up.
Oh, and it
You do
looks like
have
a
the
pick
dash in. It
onto.
looks like a shuffle coming out. Rakan being caught in this
Oh,
backside. The R coming out, but Xayah rotates back in and gets the kill
that's
on
just
Azir here. The R in the backline as well on Thong Senpai. Thong Senpai flashing out. The R from Maokai as well. Vector getting caught. 3 flashes going out. Rakan jumping around a little bit, and another quadra kill.
yeah, and that was just a textbook case of just smacking them with your wallet.
Yep.
It's really tough that that's the second time now in a major fight, relatively speaking, that Azir has died just before the Taric ult ends up going off,
Yep.
probably counting on it and just ends up not being able to get it. And things might have looked differently if there was less picks in this game, but it's still a little winnable.
Yep.
I think the Zero scaling and the Fiora scaling can pull through if they manage the turtle for long enough, but it's definitely going to be in for a long game if that's going to be the case.
I really don't think that turtling for this long, you're gonna give too much,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Realistically, we're thinking here. It is 19-6 here, 23 minutes. If you're gonna make something happen, it's a Hail Mary pass.
Yep.
It's not gonna be um, any scaling at this point because honestly, if BU wants to run it down mid, they can.
Yep.
Right, they did just lose Baron buff, so it's going to be a little bit harder, but they have won consistently team fights. If they want to win this mid, they will.
Yep. And you can see the Fiora with
Yep. And
going
there's
all
the
in.
ult coming out as well. You can just see that percent shred that you coming up here. Vector walking up as well, the healing and the knock up, not being able to hit him correctly as the flash comes out. Might be able to get away here.
Yeah,
Looks like they
remember with
both
the
will peel
flash.
off.
Yeah, and you can see the lack of wave clear without the Hydra. Naya opting to go more of the Bork into the Divine.
Yep.
Um, it really makes it hard for Fiora to stay on the side lanes.
Hmm.
You end up kind of almost going trying to clear the wave.
Yep. It's definitely much more of a duelist focused kind of build, right? Obviously looking to match that Mundo, and just shred him a little bit more. As we saw there, that was a lot of shred that you see, but you have a little bit healing, but you don't have Divine Sunder healing yet, and you don't have that Ravenous Hydra.
And there's the Divine Sunder finally picked up on the side of Valpo. And that's
Yep.
going to be monumental in
That is a huge buff for
winning
her. Yep.
winning the matchup. And honestly, that with the Divine Sunder and the Sheen procs that Fiora gets, she is a threat on
Yep.
the side lane now. How much of a threat into a 3-item Zaya? Not 100% sure, but they're gonna have to look for something. As soon as
Definitely. I mean, we do have a little bit of a dash here. I do want to talk about. Well, I mean, we mentioned the LDR being built second after that Kraken Slayer, right? Instead of that IE, and at first I didn't really get it, but I understand they've been fighting these kind of front to back, right? They've been looking this front to back build, and while I still think that IE is a little bit better,
oh yeah,
Zaya has definitely gotten use out of that LDR here, kind of that itemization. But I mean, just as I say that, we also do have the BT picked up on Draven's side now, so he's going to be a little bit tankier going into these fights, especially after that farming.
yeah, BT, one of the items that received a honestly huge buff
Hmm.
in this most recent ADC patch.
Yep.
And combining that with Overheal, you can get thousands of extra HP in the late game. But we'll have to see if Valpo is able to last long enough to reach that point.
Yep. I mean, looks like they might be walking in jungle a little bit, just trying to clear. BU playing a little bit of a tango here. Just trying to control that point, right? Not letting them push back, not letting Vector farm anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Valpo, if they're gonna look, they have to look before the rest of BU gets onto their third and fourth items. You can see the 4 items on the side. The Guardian Angel picked up, not
Yep.
necessarily giving her more damage, but survivability, the
Hmm.
res. They have a lot of tools to be able to peel for the Zaya after she gets up.
Yep. I mean, it's peeling for that Zaya. Now you can't just blow your abilities on her anymore. It's not more of a, alright, we just have to dive this backline anymore. She has options for it. So, I mean, just kind of a huge spike right there.
Looks like Jackim was picked up the second item and a needlessly large round. He was sitting on a lot of gold there. And honestly, if they were going to look for a fight, now is the time. Most
You
of
have to. You can't give this Baron here.
no, they just win the game. Not
Yep.
only that, but just the gold advantage they get from it is just too big.
Yep. I mean, BU as they should starting this Baron right now, knock up as well, and then hitting over the wall to make sure they can't blast cone that Vector. Having that flash up, but there comes the R from Tarek as well, the pushback from Syndra, dashing in, the stun as well, the knockback, huge R from Draven. Zaya going up though and triple killing immediately. Azir picking up 1 kill on Rakan's side, but there's the pentakill from Zaya, and that's going to be game. They won't even need Baron here, quite frankly. They're just going to end it. Zaya quadra kill, pentakill this game. Just
Yeah,
just a 1v9.
probably hit the triple double. Yeah.
Yep, literally pulled out the LeBron stat line here for this game, quite frankly.
Yeah,
Um,
looked like BU was able to get their game plan of ganking bot over and over and over again.
that's
And
what you do.
you know,
If it works like this, hell, that's what you do.
looks like they're not opting to end the game, but are rather going back to Baron. We'll have to see if Valpo can make a heroic last stand here, but other than that, the gold lead's over 13k. It's
Yeah,
not looking good. It's looking a little grim.
I mean, picking up a pentakill right there, buying an immediate serrated Dirk. I think this Zaya is getting a little bit too far. Probably gonna pick up a collector as
Yep.
this final item, and eventually it's just gonna become Melt City. I
Yep.
mean,
It
not like
already
it isn't
is, yeah.
already. Yeah, I'm gonna
A-
be honest.
And like to be honest, that was a relatively good engage from Valpo there.
Mhm.
They got everything kind of that they wanted off.
Yep.
But they were just BU was able to live through the engage and Zaya was just free hitting from the backline.
Yeah. There's just not enough damage right now on
Nope.
VU side to be able to have those engages where you can run in with that Terra Cult and Zaya having so much like piercing pressure, right? It's one of her best things. You can fight front to back with Zaya because she'll still hit the back shooting the front.
Yep.
And now that she has so much damage, it's almost impossible to match her.
Yeah, and you can see. Oh,
We
and
do
the
have the
big
dash here.
engage.
Have to make a play here, and immediately melted. B who just gained shot up. Vector Wing in with the Taric as well. A lot of shots still going out. Zaya walking him back a little bit. Steamroller walking up, just getting shot again. Anaya do picking up that kill, but another triple kill coming out from Zaya. Oh, yeah,
That is
Mundo
going.
picking up that fourth kill.
That
And
will
it's
be.
just Anaya left to defend this. Mundo goes where he pleases, walking through that turret, and this will probably be game here.
See if there's gonna be any heroics out of the Valpo top laner here, but it's I think they can just
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't think
I'm
there's
not.
much.
I'm not sure there's much you can do at this point. The knockup as well going down, and I mean Zaya 22 and 0, 1v9 in this game.
Yeah,
Uh,
this
those bot ganks early. We talked about bot prio being the strongest thing in this game, and I mean we saw it right there. That's why you gank that bot lane.
yep,
Um, I mean rough first game, but there's a reason that it's a series,
yep.
right? It's a reason that you come back, and we will catch you guys at the start of game 2.
All right, wish me luck, guys.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of a change of co-host here. Say
Uh,
hi.
I'm Mike. We got Jacob switching out because he's actually going to be playing in this game. So
Yep, we are having Dreadful in this top lane here as a sub for Anaya. Otherwise, same roster as well for the side of Bethel Pilots. And as we move into bans here, uh, Valpo Esports might be looking to change up another ban. That or knowing that they're blue side, probably gonna first pick something. There is the Zaya ban just to make sure. Leaving the Lucian open for Bethel Pilots. It looks like they just rather face that. Um, so we have the Kaisa, Zaya, Sivir. Sorry, froze on that. And the Jax ban as well, knowing that Dreadful is now in the game. Victor and Anivia. Valpo Esports electing to first pick that Vi. Just hey, saw how much of an impact it had last game. Saw how important it was ganking those lanes. How strong it is giving bot prio. So why not take it for ourselves?
yeah, and I mean, I think they kind of wanted to take it last game too, and Bethel first picking it kind of threw a wrench in Valpo's plans as far as
I mean, definitely, right? We have to be worried. Bethel Pilot's taking that Wukong, probably gonna pick up the Lucian here as well. Um, I don't see a reason why not, to be honest. Um, but hey, we don't know what BU's cooking. They are one game in the lead right now, so they might be able to throw a little bit of a wrench. They do pick the Rakan still. Um, Probably just a comfort support then from that support player they have on BU.
yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see. I haven't really seen Rakan paired with many other AD carries. It kind of felt
Yep.
like Rakan Zaya was the duo.
Yep. I mean, Rakan Zaya is that kind of matchup, right? Especially because of the passive buffs they give each other. But Rakan's still a strong engaged support on their own. Valpo Esports go with the Zeri and might pick the Lulu here. I'm not sure what they want to run secondary to Zeri. Obviously Tarek just not having the engage but not having enough walk up potential. Lulu kind of opting for more of a passive play here, especially having Ziri Lulu just such a strong combo together. Um, and
Yeah,
that will be the selection. Bethel Pilots instantly locking Syndra, just to get that mid lane pick out of the way, make sure they can't ban anything out, leaving up that ADC and leaving up Bethel Pilots top laner as well.
yeah. I mean, I think the Zeri is a really good pickup for Valpo. I think it's probably Thong Senpai's most confident
Yep.
pick. So definitely, a lot more comfort, a lot stronger on that Zeri over the Draven.
Yep. I mean, one thing that Valpo Esports is looking at right now is they did leave or Bethel Pilots didn't pick their ADC that round, so it did leave for probably a five ban here. Honestly, if I'm them, I ban the Lucian out, even though Zeri Lucian is kind of a weird matchup, especially knowing that they're not going Lucian Nami. Um, they are gonna ban the MF. Still another strong champion, but I think if they ban this MF here, knowing that the Tristana is also gone, they're probably gonna have a Lucian pickup. Lucian First Strike with Navorius being super strong. Maybe not so much into a Ziri Lulu, knowing that Ziri Lulu plays very passively. Never mind, there's a smear, right? How could I have it slip? Probably the number one win rate in the game right now is ADC. Samir is just disgusting. Like,
Yeah,
disgustingly good, right? Nothing wrong with picking the character, but.
and even though I'm not a master at League of Legends, it just kind
Mhm.
of feels like Rakan might be a better fit with Samira than with Lucian. So
Mhm.
maybe that's
Yeah,
part of their thought process there.
it definitely could be, right? You do have the airborne, and you have the passive proc. Going to Samir, having the empowered auto that you get from that CC.
Yeah, and
Um,
Jakimbo actually gonna pick up the
Pick
Azir
up the
again.
Azir again.
He
Yep.
totally fine with that Azir Syndra matchup last time, and he's
Yep.
just gonna go again.
To be honest, I really didn't feel much of an impact when it came from any of the mid laners last game, right? I mean, we felt the same about that top lane there. So, I mean, not broke, don't fix it. He knows now what he's going into, right? Um, and we do have a Renekton pick for the top lane for Dreadful. Renekton coming a little bit back into play here, especially with the new Bruiser item changes. Uh, just giving him a little bit more leeway to play around. Although he did get nerfed a lot, like with the ability haste. Um, Renekton's kind of been in a weird spot when it comes to pro play, so it will be fun to see Dreadful kind of come out and get a little bit funky for his first NECC debut of this season. And
And
then,
yeah,
yep,
Mundo once again. I mean, not switching up too much here from Bethel. Had to
hmm
switch up obviously the Zaya with Valpo getting rid of it, but
yep. I think this is going to be a little bit rough for Dreadful though. Obviously, being comfortable in that Renekton pick is super strong, knowing that he has a lot of dashes, he has that point and click stun or the empowered auto stun, right? There's a lot in his arsenal,
mhm,
but when you're going against Mundo, no matter how many guns you have in your arsenal, if you don't have the 50 BMG, you're not taking him down, right? If you don't have the massive bazooka shot, you're not going to kill Mundo.
right.
So Mundo kind of can just walk around where he wants a little bit in this early game as well. Um, Probably level 3 is where he wants to play a little bit more passive, but at probably one item, two items, as long as Mundo can stay on track with Renekton's gold and doesn't allow Renekton to play around Rift Herald a lot stronger, because that early game will be much stronger than Mundo's early game, um, I think that he's going to get outscaled. But we are talking about Dreadfuls Renekton here. We aren't just talking about two faceless mannequins. We are talking about our Dreadful here who loves to go in and fight and will take any chance to all in that he can. And that's
Yeah.
what you're looking for on this champ, right? This matchup specifically, you need to take advantage of Mundo's weakness early game of not having the HP sponge that he is, right? Excuse
And
me.
no, I mean we're seeing these kind of two bruisers, more high HP picks in the top lane. So you got to think it might be a little more about farming up and just
Mhm.
trying to become that big tank for your team.
Definitely. I mean, we see right most bruiser into tank options. You want to look for that HP percent, right? You want to build that Bork immediately. We're probably going to see the Bork immediately come out of Renekton. You do have a lot of Gore Drinkers. Gore Drinker is, I think, the most opted pick for Renekton here, but I mean, this top lane has a lot of nuance to it. Um, Outside of that, though, let's talk about
Yeah.
really what's going to go on in this game, and that's gonna be this bot lane, right? It's gonna be this jungle into bot lane, right? You have Wukong and Vi who now are level 3 gankers, right? Um, Kind of had the issue last game of Vi being able to clear jungle faster, not power farm that, and then go in and actually fight, right?
Yeah.
Maokai being a little bit slower of a clear than Vi was, kind of getting to that lane late, and we saw the issues that led to. Now they've kind of matched the speed with Valpo picking up Vi, Bethel matching with Wukong. I think we're gonna see a lot of clashed heads here, especially in this bot lane.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, we talk so much about the importance of bot lane, but you saw last game. There's
yep,
a good reason
there's
why.
a
I
damn
mean,
good reason for it. I'm
what
telling
was it?
you.
22 kills on the
22 0
Zaya?
and 5. Yep.
Yeah. So
So
that's the kind of power you can get down there in this meta, and that's what both teams are looking for. Valpo picking up the Vi, which was a big part of the reason the Zaya got ahead last game. So
definitely. I mean, having now that early game gank potential from both sides. And I think one thing that we're underlooking right now is Valpo picked up mobility. Right, Valpo picked
yeah,
up more fight sustain now because you have the Lulu shield, you have the polymorph for when people all in you, you have these kind of evasive options, and you have Zeri movement, right? You have the E, you have the speed buffs that she gets, right? Now she can steal shields. It's all going to be about, can Bethel get a clear opening to engage? Because a Rakan knockup is going to be one thing, right? But if Samira jumps on you, especially early game Zeri against early game Samira, you're going to see Samira's going to make Zeri not even look like a champ, right?
yeah.
That's how strong she is right now, especially with that early, like, just components having her in comparison, especially to Zeri. So we're gonna see, I think, VU play a little bit more passively because looking at this dynamic that we have on BU side, on Bethel side, that Samira into Rakan, you have very strong engage from Rakan. It's very safe engage as well, right? We talk about engage being jumping in, right? Maybe a Tom Kench W. You have your Nautilus Q, the hook, right? You have a pull in, something along those lines. But if you think Rakan, it's a very safe because you W in and you E right back to your partner, right? And you have another E for a shield. So it's a very, very safe dive. So I think it's gonna be like he's leaving it up to Samira, right? Like, okay, Samira, we go in when you say so, right? I will dive in, but if you're not diving in as well, I'll just E back. So it's gonna be still a little bit more on BU side, choosing when to engage, unless they get ganked.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit off stream. Really, the jungle and those ganks is gonna be the key to the matchup
Yep.
for this game.
Definitely. I think we need to see a little bit more action coming in that jungle from Vector. We know where BU likes the path. We know how BU's jungler likes to be really, really aggressive. And I think that it's not only just like Vector's job or for
Yeah,
ganks and handling ganks, but I think also Valpo's laners need to know, hey, he's gonna be active like right now, right? They can't just play blindly and expect Vector to make up for everything by running
exactly.
into someone's lane. It's not his job to play safe, right? VU has to know that, hey, um I have him level 3, like we have tabs on him, right? We know he's hitting level 3 around this time, right? We're talking like 3 minutes, 30 seconds around when Scuttle Crab comes up. That's when we have to, okay, let's back up a little bit. Let's let the wave push into us here so that we're not putting ourselves in a spot that could get ganked.
Yeah, I mean, I think the communication is, very important and definitely, maintaining cool heads. You lose that game, you kind of lose it bad. You got
Yep.
Zaya running all over you. So it's really going to be important to kind of, maintain positive outlook, fresh slate, new
Yep.
game. We got Dreadful in here, mix it up a little bit. We have, an entirely new comp outside of the Azir. So a lot of different factors that do really make this a completely different game.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's just such a different matchup now. We saw last time we wanted you have Draven to fight early, you have Zaya to fight early. You have engages that support these people, right? Engages that match. Now, other than I mean Ziri Lulu does match together really well, but they don't play the same way Draven does, right? You don't have that really early aggressive from Valpo's side. And I think that's to help combat, hey, you know, playing aggressive early is a very delicate balance game of I'm going to push this wave and kill you or your jungle's going to come kill me. I think Valpo doesn't want to play that game anymore, that balancing game, and just goes, hey, we're going to farm up, we're going to play safe here. We will fight when our jungle is here. Like, we will fight when we have Vi level 3 in our lane, right?
Yeah.
So it should be interesting. It should be fun, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I think definitely a good point you make about needing less aggression because, I think if this game is 0 kills for everyone at 15 minutes, you're
Yep.
favoring Valpo, right?
Yep. I mean, if we're talking scaling here, you do have the Syndra, you do have the Samira on that side, which are really dangerous, and then obviously the Mundo, who just becomes, a 5,000 HP shield practically for that. Um, but if we're talking scalings, we have the Azir, we have the Zeri, we have the Lulu, right? Those three, Zeri, Lulu, are enough to take out a game when it comes to very, very late game. You really don't need anyone else. Azir is, as we call it, an insurance policy to where, okay, he can get us to the point to where Zeri and Lulu can start scaling, right? You need him to get ahead so that Zeri and Lulu have the pressure off of them. Um, but when it comes to just like playing overall, Dreadful needs to make stuff happen early, right? Dreadful needs to make stuff happen early. Vector needs to make stuff happen early. Jakimbo just needs to secure some stuff and allow Thonk and Steamroller to farm. And then on Bethel's side, Mundo has to play safe. Wukong has to be able to match Vi or beat her to lane. Syndra kind of plays the matchup the same, right? You're kind of playing passively. You have a lot of chip, you have a lot of poke, but you're trying to stack your passive. But for BU's bot lane, it's balls to the walls. It's go in, right? You want to jump in as Samira. You want because you have projectile block, You have a huge damage on your Q and your E. You have the true damage and the healing that you get from fully stacking your S rank combo, right? For going full Devil May Cry version on everybody in the bot lane, you get rewarded for it. So her being so strong in meta right now as well. I can't remember the exact stats, but she's like number 1 or 2 in the bot lane right now. Not only when it comes to win rate, but it comes to ban rate as well. There's a reason that she's not allowed to play in a lot of these games. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see how Valpo likes to kind of combat this.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting aspect of the draft. First round we talked about how we got the 5 ban for Jakimbo, and he's still able to come out and find a good pick. Kind of
Yep.
the same thing here for Bethel's bot laner, getting the 5 ban and still finding a really strong pick. It seems like all these teams, all these players just have such deep champion pools, really.
Definitely. And I think one thing we want to look at as well, last game I did mark on how they did take the Arcane Comet in that mid lane with that Azir going into Syndra, kind of looking for poke. But like I talked about, this kind of comp, you need Azir as an assurance policy. You need him to get gold. You need him to farm up so that he can do enough damage to cover for that Aziri. And Jakimbo recognizes this too, went for strike. Takes first strike for the extra golden damage, goes, changes it up a little bit, and you can see him proccing it right there, another 15 gold going to him, right? These little engages, these little farms are how you play an insurance policy character like Azir for this mid game, and that's just team comp play.
Yeah, definitely going to be crucial to have the Azir there. That's Valpo's damage, really, is Zeri and Azir, but I mean, you do really want to look towards the Zeri, and I think whenever we see that first engage in this bot lane, it's going to decide a lot about this game.
Definitely. I mean, we're talking about damage, we're talking about engage here. I think just going through, we talked about Azir, we know what Vi is supposed to do, we know what Zeri Lulu are looking to do, and quickly speaking of that, also notice both junglers are in that bot side as well, clearing probably their last camp before they enter into lane. And we're looking at lane states here. Valpo is a little bit dangerous if Wukong starts the path up here, but they do have vision down, so they might be able to back up. If we're talking about damage and healing, you do get the level up from Mundo, a couple of dashes through the Conqueror proc on Dreadful, getting him that healing, being able to win that trade.
Yeah, and we talked about Dreadful, definitely not afraid of those trades. Will fight to his very last HP.
Definitely. I mean, there's a couple of shots here. Like I said, this early game, this might be looking bad for Mundo. Mundo will get this healing up here, but it won't be enough to survive that Q as Dreadful all in and kills with that Q. Right? That early game Renekton, we talked about it, he has to get active, and he's getting active. That's what we like to see. He definitely is up there.
Valpo with the first blood, getting an advantage for Dreadful right away. Don't know if it bodes well or not, though, because the Draven did get the first blood for us in that first game, so not necessarily a sign going forward.
Yeah, this time, though, it wasn't a 2-for-1 trade, right? So, I mean, we still have a little bit going for us. You see Wukong recognizing that Vi was on vision down in that bot side, so going to invade, take a couple of Vi's camps here. Dreadful getting an early back as well. Mundo starting off with the cloth armor just to survive a little bit longer. And I mean, until he becomes an HP sponge, Renekton kind of can just walk over people. In that 1-6, it's one of his best things. The reason why Renekton mid is so strong as well, because mid is notoriously known for not having very strong level 1-6 people, right? You have the Castanin, you have the Akali, you have, Syndra, the Azir, characters that are not very strong until maybe their ultimate or levels afterwards. Renekton from 3 is on go, right? From 3 he has his damage up. That's what he needs. So now you take him to the top lane, right, where he likes to play, into a champ like Mundo, who plays the same scaling comp that a mid laner does, just with a little bit beefier, and you see the results.
Yeah, no, I mean 100%. I think so far you're seeing kind of a slower, more methodical game. It felt like in game 1 we had a lot of action bot lane. So far it's just kind of been farming. Now we're getting the backs, pick up some items here, so just taking our time really with this second game.
Yep, definitely. I think we're seeing right now also the pressure that not only just like showing, but just picking Vi in general does to a team, because that Wukong is not comfortable ganking without knowing where she is, right? We saw he had that open. He had Valpo in that mid lane, right about midway through. A good open potential for a level 3 once he cleared that Grump, but not knowing where Vi is, Vi coincidentally being in that bot side as well, it's just too dangerous because her damage is just too much right now.
Yeah, and I mean, Vi really plagued Valpo, so I'm kind of excited to see what they can do now that she's
But
on their side, working
Dunk,
in their favor.
Dunk Senpai has to be careful here. You see the Wukong on vision now as well, backing up. The flash as well from the Recon dumping in, but not being able to hit. Way to play safe there. Just trying to clear vision, but it won't be enough as they do keep the ward up and drop down the red ward. That's the safety that we're talking about, right? A gank right there could have been crucial for the other team getting a lead up here, but now being able to run away, wasting Wukong's time, finishing off his vision as well. Valpo is known that they can be safe here. Dreadful dashing through, dashing back. You do have the plated steel caps taken from that Mundo there, so it's going to be a lot harder to chip him with that 12%. It's either 12 or 15. I always confuse myself on how much percent damage it takes away. But
A good amount, anyway.
exactly.
Yeah.
But now Valpo stopping that Wukong gank, being able to push up that wave a little bit. Even though they are getting frozen on here, they're going to take this chance to take this first dragon, having Vi push up as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things going Valpo's way early here, you know, the first blood, the first Drake, so kind of all these little things adding up, but it's still a wide open game, really.
Oh, definitely. It's still so early in the game that you really have to just be careful on Valpo's side to take this momentum and use it. But it is only one kill, right? One kill, one drag really are the two deciding things in this game right now.
Yeah.
So
Not a whole
can
lot,
turn.
Nate.
Exactly,
Those
exactly.
two things, that was kind of it so far.
Mhm.
So.
No, definitely. I mean, a lot more passive of a game, but I feel like that fits Valpo a little bit better here. Just win your lane. You have to win your lanes.
Yeah, and we're seeing 3 members of Bethel back, so, you know, they're going to be able to pick up some items, be on a little bit more even footing here.
Yep. I mean, just a little bit of farming as well. Couple of pings, probably looking for Rift Herald here, knowing that Dreadful is getting frozen, Dreadful is freezing him a little bit. The vision going down. A little bit of engage here, the dash in, but Vi being able to dash out. Renekton now walking up as well. Renekton on this Wukong might be a little bit dangerous. There's the Shurima shuffle coming up from mid lane as well. Dreadful picking up the kill on Mundo. Rift Herald starting, forcing BU back. That's the kind of engage that you're looking for. It's just really, really helpful. MF Jakimbo, that's the coordination that you need because Syndra didn't move down. You have the flash over the wall and the Q up as well. Dreadful picking up another kill, dashing in. The knock up over the wall. Azir being able to flash over as well. The Q picking up the 3rd kill. And this is the start that you were looking for from Valpo. 4-0. Coordinating that rotate up to Rift Herald. Knowing where they're playing. Knowing who's up there as well. And being able to just play to their strengths.
Incredible communication there to get MF Jakimbo to come up from mid, Dreadful coming down and just kind of collapsing on that.
Yep, we do have the Syndra in the spot lane here, looking to Q and knock up on that Lulu, but it's not going to turn into much here as she's forced back by the minions.
Yeah, and now Valpo up 4 kills, almost 2k gold, and they're going to grab the Rift Herald. I mean, this could start to spiral out of control if Bethel doesn't start playing more here.
Definitely. You do have to watch out, though, for this next drag. You do have Mira ult up now. So hitting that level 6 becomes a lot more of an issue, but I mean, Dreadful became active in this early game like we talked about. He played to Renekton's strength, and now he's gonna get the money for it. He gets that Rift Herald down, he gets a lot of shots here, dashing out, taking a little bit of turret shots there, probably gonna have to back here, but he's being careful.
Building up that lead, and man, 3 kills on the Renekton might end up being more of an insurance policy than the Azir now.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we talked about him being aggressive, being able to delay that Mundo, right? And just kind of win that matchup early. But now he's going to use that fight across the map, and that's really what you're looking for. Wukong is recalling this, but trying to wait for them to walk up. Thunk Senpai might be walking up a little too hard here, knowing that Lulu's checking that. There gets the vision there. Wukong knocking up, and the R coming out as well. On Ian, and then knocking up on Lulu as well. The ult on Lulu and the ult on Ziri as well. 2 exhausts coming out. And it looks like it's just going to be a little bit of a stalemate here as both teams being forced to back out. Well played from both sides, really, but Syndra does rotate down, knowing that Vi isn't really in the area. The R on the Steamroller, and the flash away from him gets the kill.
Yeah, Valpo doing a good job to stave off the initial dive, but Bethel brings down Syndra as well. Really investing a lot to get that kill, but they will pick up the Steamroller.
Yep, I mean, Lulu going down there, it does give them a little bit of a kill in that mid lane, give them a little bit of a little bit of a more passive stack, but Zeri staying up is important. Right, Zeri still needs to farm this. Zeri still needs to be there. And with Drag coming up as well and Vi coming up, both junglers recently resetting, we might see a little bit of an even fight here. Just clearing vision around this river.
Yep, just kind of not much happening. Farming up, chilling around.
Nope.
Kimbo pushing in a lot in that.
And we see Dreadful on Raptors as well. Looks like Dreadful is going to give up a little bit here, just trying to pressure, get vision on this Wukong, see where he is, so that when this drag pops up, hopefully Valpo can just rotate over and take it.
Yep, just kind of waiting for that to come up next here.
A couple of dashes through. Dreadful knows the lead that he has right now, with full, looks like Gore Drinker up as well. Like we talked about, Gore Drinker being a very, very strong staple item when it comes to Renekton. And
Valpo
Dragon coming up as well.
Looks like they're just going to take the second Dragon in the game, uncontested.
I mean, if I'm BU here, I don't think it's worth it. The R coming out from Dreadful as well, the stun up on that Syndra, the flash over the wall as well. Gore Drinker just keeping him in the game. He's just a tank right now with that R up. Dashes through MF Jakimbo picking up that kill. The R on Vi as well. And Dreadful picking up his 4th kill of the game on that Syndra. It's really starting to run away in this top lane here, and we're going to have to be careful. It might become the Dreadful show in a little bit.
I mean, yeah, this is the Renekton game so far. 100% kill participation, 400 gold of bounties, and he is just taking every fight he sees.
Definitely. I mean, he has to be careful with these tower shots, knowing that he isn't the full tank build, right? But nobody ever wants to build full tank Renekton. That just sounds evil. You do have the Shurima Shuffle come out, the flash as well, but Dreadful's going to be able to dash in, dash out, get the kill on Rakan. And get a quick recall here. Probably going to pick up his boots here and a couple of components as well. Samira just power farming, but you see that Zeri farming just right with her, right? Other than that assist that she got, it's pretty even in the spot lane at the moment.
Yeah, slight advantage to Samira, but it doesn't really matter when Valpo's solo laners are just dominating the way they have been in this early game.
Definitely. I mean, we have the Renekton who's really pushing that influence. We have Azir getting those kills, becoming that insurance policy that you're looking for. And there's just so much going on this top side of the map that, I mean, really bot lane doesn't have anything to do, right? Like, the only things that are up are drags. And even then, it's like, okay, by that time, our top laner has already rotated up and tried to kill 2 people, right? Like, there's so much fighting going on this top side of the map that this bot lane's kind of just left the farm. And quite frankly, that works in Zeri's favor, right? That's what Zeri wants to do.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty tough here for Bethel to come back, especially if Syndra goes down here.
And that's probably going to be the kill here. And there's MF Jakimbo picking up his 3rd kill of the game as well. Both MF Jakimbo and Dreadful kind of just carrying this gold lead here. I mean, 5-0-3, 3-0-3, but the rest of them being 0-0-1, 0-0-0, 0-1-1, right? Like, there's definitely just playing going on up here. Yeah. And not denying the rest of the team because they are applying that pressure here, but you really just see Dreadful and Jakimbo taking over kind of with this combo that they have.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Bethel, you know, you really have to look to shut down that Renekton or that Azir, you know, big bounties on them, and they're going to have such a huge impact on the fight. So you can't really take a straight 5v5 very well here.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you still do have Samira, but until Samira gets first item shield bow, I think her R is going to be a little bit mismanaged, or a little bit weaker when it comes to these team fights. Clearing up a little bit just so drag up in 2 minutes, but it looks like Dreadful and Vector on this Rift Herald here. I mean, we talked about playing a lot more of a passive game. Talked about kind of playing into these lanes, knowing what your like team comp wants to do. And I think that just is it's lane winning right now, right? That's how you win these kind of lanes. You have the invade as well, knowing that Rift Herald is going top. Oh, a little bit of a silly tower shot there. Looking to just take this tower before they drop that Rift Herald, but in order to pay for it, you do have the flash from Wukong and the knockup as well. The R coming out on Lulu. Rakan jumping back, getting that kill. Samira jumping up as well, but Azir rotating to that backside, picking up 1, picking up 2 as well. Maybe being able to dash on this Rakan and trying to pick up 3, but Rakan will probably get away here. The 2 for 3 trade going in the bot lane with both topside going, and it looks like Mundo might pay the price here as well for overstaying a little bit. The R coming out from Vi to try and stop him, but God, with that ghost, he's just too fast.
Man,
He is so fast.
I mean, this whole game to me has just been about, MF Jimbo's rotations and the communication. Bethel, sees Vector and Dreadful up top with the Rift. They're like, okay, maybe we can get something bot, but they definitely did not expect Jimbo down there, able to pick up a couple and, I mean, really destroy Bethel's hopes of grabbing anything back here.
Definitely. I mean, this game is slowly running away right now, looking at like a 9k, 8k gold lead here. But, I mean, we have to think here, all right, what is Bethel's game plan getting back here, right? And I think, quite frankly, you can't give this next drag. You can't, or at least you can't give Soul Point. You can't really fight them at the moment, especially if Dreadful's rotating. Thunk Senpai now picking up a kill as well, getting cracking, going the on-hit Zeri, which is the strongest build that you can right now, is a good idea. If you are going to fight for this drag, you need Samira. You really need Samira to engage, but I don't think they should. I think as they're doing right now, you give third drag, you fight for Soul.
Yeah, I mean, Valpo just burning us down so quickly and doing such a good job of poking him out, not giving him any space. And Bethel's really just helpless. I mean, you're not going to push in and just give a free kill. Like.
Definitely. And I think one thing that we have to recognize right now as well, who could solo lane against Renekton on their team, right? Quite frankly, I don't think anyone. I really think that Renekton is in a spot right now to where nobody can solo lane. He's going to need 2 or 3 people on him. And that's kind of what Dreadful loves to do. He loves to pull people on him like that so that his team can clear these objectives. We see right there, just even a little bit of a combo chip right there. Almost no damage going out to Dreadful. And Dreadful being able to chip a 4th. You do have the crown picked up from Syndra instead of the Ludens. Makes sense. I mean, you're looking at melee, close range melee, and an enchanter here, not so much of an AP mage, but Azir does have enough chip to kind of break that crown, so it can be a little bit dangerous. Do have the engage here and the exhaust as well, jumping up. Samira looking to proc her ultimate here, probably going to get it off as well. The flash going out from Vector, there's the ult from Samira, but not being able to pick up much as Renekton R comes out as well. The flash in and the Gore Drinker getting a couple of shots out, a lot of damage, really low here. Thunk Senpai, getting enough shield from Lulu, but it's not going to be enough to survive the Syndra RWQ. And there's going to be a pick there. An 0 for 1 trade going for Valpo's side with a 1-to-1 going to the top side. I think the biggest thing there is that you had MF Jimbo that top side. Remember who your lead is in, right? So you have that Renekton, you have that Azir that have that lead, but now that Azir is in that top side, I feel like BU is a little bit more comfortable with taking that fight, especially knowing they blew their sums on Renekton there.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could have been a lot scarier there for Valpo. Dreadful essentially in a 3v1 for a minute there and still making it out, with the help of Vector and the rest of Valpo rotating down and, staying alive and not giving up that 500 gold bounty is definitely a huge boost for Valpo.
Yep, definitely. I mean, one thing you have to at least recognize here is that you can't lose this lead by playing too safe. Right now is when you need to push these objectives. Now when you need to go, and you just see that first strike proc is there, 34 gold just from what a WQ push it, right? Like he's getting so much gold. First strike, genuinely one of my favorite runes in this game. Not only because of how it incentivizes fighting, but also I love the sound it makes. I love the ching 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 sound that it keeps going. I don't know. It scratches my brain in a nice way. It's like watching one of those like ASMR videos.
Yeah.
You watch it, it just makes that sound. You're like, yeah, like I'm doing a good job. It's a nice reassuring sound to have.
Oh
But
yeah, definitely a rewarding thing to pick up there and get that extra gold as well. As we see, Dreadful trying to face off against the Mundo, doing a good amount of damage.
yeah, you're seeing now Mundo has his one item and he has Thorn. Steamroller getting caught out a little bit here, probably looking for a flash over the wall. There it is. Wukong just not following, just trying to be safe. No pick there, but getting the flash out of Lulu is going to be really hard, especially if they try to dive that back line now. Steamroller might not have the option for himself.
Yeah, and I mean, not a ton of kills, you know, only 15 total kills in this game, but still enough for Valpo to build it up to about a 7k gold lead here, and you know, a lot of pings coming down around Baron, so we might see some action there soon.
Oh, definitely. I think Baron is their next fight going on. You do have Dragon a minute here, but Valpo's in a space where they can give up one Dragon, right? They can give these kind of things. And because BU can't give up Soul Point, they're going to be forced to path down. I think this is a free Baron if they don't give away their kill right now. They just need people to rotate over. They might try and fight this here. Vi has to be careful here, walking up. You have 3 in the lane. A lot of knockups going on. Vector running in. The charm as well from the Rakan R as well. Samir diving in, but the ult from Zeri being able to push him back, and you're just seeing how much damage is going on right there. Just astro gliding all over the rift right now. Just walking up, and that's going to be Soul Point. With Wukong down and with Rakan down, you really just don't have any more peel.
I mean, you just cannot run from Zeri. That damage is so oppressive. You're just trying to walk away, helplessly soaking up the damage. Valpo picking up too, and
And there's a quick pick right there, just hiding in the bush. I mean, you will pay for her life there. Missing the stream of shuffle, but not really mattering, as Emma Chikimbo will pick up the final kill there. Muno just hovering around a little bit, Samir in that mid lane, but this will be Soul Point here. I wouldn't be surprised if someone tries to run in, but really just no point. Infernal Soul going over, and that ability power and that damage just gonna buff up a ton now. You have full Rabadons built on Azir now. Like we saw that last fight, the movement speed was insane from Phantom Dancer that Azir built. Probably going to go that IE next, and I mean, her damage is going to go insane. A lot of shots there.
Most of Bethel was back up, and they were kind of grouping over towards this Baron, so...
I mean, now Valpo's just being oppressive. This is what they're doing. They're just running in. Samir kind of waiting for them to dive in a little bit, not really wanting to fight here. Maybe stack up a little bit of the passive. The dash in as well. Thunk Senpai's ult already back up. Just walking in, walking out, probably looking for someone to tank, but not going to get enough. Steamroller gets R'd again by Syndra. Syndra just having a vendetta against this person. Steamroller just getting a couple of shots. The polymorph, but dying again to Syndra. Syndra just picking up another kill on Steamroller. Dreadful dashing over, trying to get a couple of shots here. Gets the stun, and the Gorgerker proc will kill the Samira here. A couple of shots out. Mundo just taking towers in that bot lane, but with the way that they're playing around this top, they're at least trading for something.
Man, there is just so much damage from everyone on Valpo.
Yep. I mean, there's the dash in as well on that Rakan, even as he tries to get away, and it's not going to be enough. They are going to lose an inhibitor there. Mundo is going to try and back after taking that tower. I think... Oh, we do have a little bit of an issue going on with the lead client. Sorry about that, folks. And we are back. Just taking a couple of towers here. I really don't think Valpo has much more time to waste. I think they go Baron here after they get Baron. They force a fight at Baron, they get Baron, they end here, right? Last game we were talking about how a lot of their engage just didn't have the damage to finish off that engage. Now we're seeing that damage, right? You talked about it. There's just so much going out from everyone here, and it's really what you're looking for. It looks like Zir will be building Bork as the third item, which no IE, but on hit Zeri, I guess, builds whatever on hit Zeri wants. And Bork, I know, is that a build that has kind of jumped into Zeri's range of play, especially with the crit strike that it gives now. Still a very valid option for on hit Zeri. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna trust Gonk Senpai there, and I
exactly.
mean, he can really build any item he wants at this point. You got the 7-0 and 4 in Ekton and Azir with the identical stat line, so
Definitely. I mean, we're really seeing top and mid kind of run this game away because now playing these objectives gave Thunk Senpai gave that kind of bot lane pressure that or gave bot lane the insurance that they needed to scale, and then you just see Xeris just starts gliding.
yeah,
Xeris
I mean,
starts
there's
gliding.
basically zero pressure on this Zeri the entire game. I mean,
Exactly.
the focus away from bot lane, shockingly, and now they're just gonna burn down this Baron.
Yep, and blue team does get this kill here. Valpo getting it up. Mundo taking a ton of damage, and here comes Donk Senpai dashing through. The slow from Mundo Q was not enough as he just tries to run and keep his thing procced. Rakan does dash away, Sindra throwing over the wall. Kimbo gets the shuffle out. Double kill from Zeri. Zeri almost picking up a third one here, just trying to get over the wall. Getting the triple kill as well, dashing in on that. Having to be careful of Samir here. Samir popping ghosts to make sure they can get back. Vector dashing up, getting the Q out. And the R also on Samir, just trying to finish her. Immortal Shield Bow procs off, Vector gets the kill. Thunk Senpai still just dashing around.
And this should be the game for
And that
Valpo.
should be it for Valpo. With Baron, they should just end right here and that will be game. I mean, overall, talking about what they did better this game, they played to their comp, right? They played what they need. They made the adjustment that they need to do. They played into their comp, and that's really what we were looking for. They had passive on the bot side, strong on the top side. They played aggressively when they needed to. They grouped as a team, and overall, just really, really good performance when it comes to a second game coming from Valpo. Um, right? Not much to talk about here. We have 23,000 damage on that Emma Akimbo. We have the 19,000 from Dreadful, and then Zeri popping off with 13,000 as well. Like still on the lower end, but considering how late game she scaled compared to everyone else here, 13,000 is still a lot of damage. So I
Y-
mean, it's great to see them play around it, but
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was thinking it might be more of a quiet game for Dreadful, but I mean, you can't doubt him. Literally any champ, he's gonna
mhm.
go in, he's gonna go off, he's gonna get those kills. So
Definitely. I mean, I know he's very comfortable, like personally, with dealing with Mundos, right? Playing against Mundo. So when I saw the Renekton pick, it's a little bit more of a tougher matchup when it comes to later game. But I know how Dreadful likes to play. I know how he wanted to take this matchup, and it was just gonna be fun to watch. But we will catch you guys at the very beginning of Game 3.
keep on breathing. Let me go. Sing to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes. Still you're blinded by the lies. So you can see what you do. Restless every time we start looking as lose control. It's paradise with honesty. With the dead of the night. Teardrops on the floor. The place is
All right, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 3 of Valpo Esports' NECC debut.
We're
versus
getting
Bethel Pilots.
we're getting right into draft a game 3 here.
Definitely. I mean, looking at it, Bethel Pilots probably not going to switch up many bands here. Might see a Ziri ban, but quite frankly, I don't think that was the issue. I really think Bethel might ban this Azir. Um, they're gonna hold on the Anivia. They're gonna hold on the Victor. Right, two very solid picks. And if I'm Valpo, I'm banning the same five. And there's the Azir ban.
Yep.
Right, just could not let it go through. Which is reasonable, right? Played the last two games, not really much impact, but focus wasn't on him. But you know,
Oh, and we're gonna ban out the Vi this time.
yep. I mean, now with Bethel having first pick, having that blue side, you really don't want him first picking that. You do have the Jax though. A Jax first pick against Dreadful. I mean, knowing that they didn't ban Jax first, I think they're just kind of assuming that Dreadful is going to try and first pick. Right, Dreadful's going to try and get his Jax.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean that Bethel's done a really good job in this draft, kind of, picking as an extra ban, right? Is
yeah,
taking their first pick to also deny a pick from Valpo, and I'm sure Dreadful is not happy about losing the Jacks.
yeah. I don't think he's happy about losing the Jax, but I think what they have to realize is, I mean, Dreadful knows Jax. You know what I mean? You're giving him a free counter pick. Um, and I think especially with like how we saw last game go, even with Renekton being kind of a little bit weaker into late game Mundo, but like stronger, still like a very weird matchup, right? Even into a weird matchup, we saw how Dreadful did. Now we're giving him a free counter. So Bethel obviously just did not want to give him Jax. That's the biggest thing, right? You talked about it. Um,
Yeah,
but we'll have to see how Valpo counters that.
I mean it was strong enough that they banned it away last time, but now you're right. Dreadful can take his time and figure out exactly how he wants to play into the Jacks. In the bot lane, we're just gonna lock down the Zeri Lulu again. Worked last time, no need to switch it up, and like we said, very confident pick for Thonk Senpai.
But I mean, now Bethel Pilot's coming on this side. It's the pick I was looking for. It's that Lucian, right? When you have those really two ADCs banned out now, didn't get rid of the Sivir this time. You have the Lucian open. Your support not picked. Probably gonna save it a little bit here. Maybe not wanting to pick that Nami. Maybe wanting to wait a little bit, see kind of how Valpo Esports plays their comp. Look for someone a little bit more later game. But
Yeah,
Bethel Pilot's picking up that jungle, that Sejuani.
I mean, as somebody who watches a decent amount of those LCK and LPL games, I mean, that Sejuani would have been a Nami if
Mm-hmm.
this was a pro matchup. So,
Yep.
gonna be very interesting if Valpo bans out that Nami, which is traditionally, considered the best pairing with Lucian. So,
Yep. I mean, best pairing with Lucian, also one of the best 2v2 combos in the game, right? Like, there's the Nami ban as well. Valpo Esports just had to take advantage of it. Even if the other support doesn't play it, you can't take a chance on that. The empowered passive that Lucian gets from Nami W or E, I can't remember which, but whichever one it was, it's too strong. You cannot let that happen. Um, Bethel going with their same mid lane bans as we expected, but Valpo Esports picking up Garen, knowing that Jack. Sorry, one moment. All right, sorry about that, folks. Had a couple of technical difficulties here. We do have the Garen pick as well for the top lane for Dreadful, and a couple of bans going out. Bethel keeping the same ones. Valpo banning Zillion.
yeah, I think this
Zillion.
might have been, something from the OP.GGs. I remember hearing him briefly talk about somebody playing a lot of Zillion, so
Yeah,
definitely a targeted pick at somebody over there.
definitely. I mean, they see something. Let them cook. Let them cook. We do have the pickup for Silas as well. Most likely in this mid lane, but could be a jungle pickup.
Yeah, so some ambiguity on where Valpo's picks are going here, and that leaves a lot of questions for Bethel as they're just gonna pick up the Syndra again.
I mean, he's comfortable with the Syndra, comfortable getting kills. uh, just have to have a little bit more like team pressure, right? So I'm wondering who Bethel picks up here as this last, and it's Blitzcrank. Okay, a lot a lot safer of a pull, and Blitzcrank in the Lucian, Blitzcrank with Lucian is kind of nasty. Really, what you're looking for is you need Lucian to be able to get an auto range because early on, especially even level 2, level 3, right? Think about it. If you have Blitzcrank pull into auto range, you have a free Q, 2 autos, E, 2 autos, W, 2 autos before someone can get out of range. That's so much damage. This is why Lucian Nami is so strong. It's why Lucian is really, really strong early game as well. But I mean, it's a good support pickup on Bethel's side. And then Valpo finishing with the Nunu, so we know that it's going to be a Silas mid. We're going to see the MF Chikimbo Silas come back out. A lot of ults to steal here, right?
Yeah.
You have the Sej ult, you have the Lucian ult, you have the you have the Syndra ult. Actually, you know what? I say a lot. If we're talking team comp, I might have just overspoke really quick. You really have Sejuani. I mean, Jack's ult's not going to do you anything. Lucian ult is very situational. It's
Yep.
damage, but at that point, just steal Sejuani's, right? Syndra, again, very situational if you need to just get a pick. And Blitzcrank's ult is just not good on like Silas. It's like Zeri ult, but like a little bit more damage, you know,
Yeah.
without any of the passive auto attack. So, I mean, looking at it, yeah, it's really only Sejuani you want to steal here, especially talking about a team fight. But still a very flexible pick,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, outside of the ultimate, Silas does offer
Hmm.
a lot of damage, and is a pick that Jakimbo knows well. We've seen him play before. Also the case with Nunu, also in the top junglers there for Vector. So
Definitely. I mean, going with that comfort pick there, knowing that Sejuani's going to be a little bit slower to lane, right? And Nunu's all about speed. We might see a blue pet pickup here for the Cloud, just to get really, really fast. So it should be fun. It should be fun, a little bit of a dynamic. I mean, each game we kind of talked about what the teams are looking for, how to play. Valpo Esports, keeping that kind of mentality with their bot lane and their jungle, right? Not really gonna fight unless Nunu's there, right? Not really gonna jump in unless Nunu's there. Silas is another insurance policy that you can play, right? Silas can get really fed really early. He can jump in. We might see a Night Harvester build here, which is just, quite frankly, in my opinion, it's much better than the Everfrost build. I know that when you're going mid, you want to play a lot of lockdown, so he probably still will go Everfrost here. But if you're looking for pure damage, if we're looking for an insurance, I think the Night Harvester is really strong. Um, and then you have the Garen to just Garen. I mean,
yeah,
he's just a Beyblade in the top lane. Let's be honest. Dreadful's gonna play him like a Beyblade. Let it rip, and then he's gonna spin around and then press R. Right,
yep,
that's what you do. Talking about Bethel's side at least, um, you have really strong early game when it comes to Jax, right? Jax can jump in on Garen. Garen does have a lot of healing, so Garen can kind of just run in, run out, and then with his passive regen that he has, he'll be back to full in no time. But Jax kind of has that all-in potential. We might see an ignite being taken here, and I wouldn't be surprised by it. Um, Sejuani, a lot more of a tank, kind of playing that front line, a lot more of engage on the jungle, right? We saw that Vi played a lot of engage in that first game. I think that this is kind of the same range, just a different angle, right? Sejuani's not going to be jumping to the back line or not going to be singling ADCs out, but Sejuani is still going to be leading her team in a fight. And I think that's kind of the angle they're looking at. The Syndra being that comfort pick, and then the Lucian Blitzcrank, again, looking to fight early, but this time they don't have to fight with waves, right? Knowing that Blitzcrank can pull to you rather than go to them, you're allowed to play a little bit more liberally when it comes to where your wave state is, where you are, because at any time you can make someone auto range, right?
yeah.
As long as you hit that Q. So I think that it's kind of like what they were trying to do last game, just a lot better of a setup for Bethel.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this Blitzcrank is kind of scary if you're Valpo, Uh, because if that Zeri gets picked off early, it can kind of snowball out of control. And, with the Garen in top, I feel like the top matchup is a little more difficult this time for Jacob. He can't kind of get that 7-0 roll over.
Yeah, definitely. You're not going to be winning that level 3, level 4. It's more of just a farm until you hit 6, and then once you hit 6, you can really start looking to fight. But
Yeah, and I'm also interested to see, how he does on the pick because I don't know if we've really seen him play Garen.
we haven't. I don't think he's played Garen all in our NECC, like last semester at least, for as long as I've been casting. Usually that's a pick that we more look towards Anaya to pick, right? She's more of the Garen, the Alawi, the Mundo kind of tank player in that top, the
Yep.
Mordekaiser. But seeing Dreadful pick it, he's got something up his sleeve. But I mean, we're just gonna have to see as we roll into this game 3. We are going to take a slight break here, and we will catch you guys back after the spectator delay. All right, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as we log into the third game of the NECC first week. Bethel versus Valpo. Right now, the series is tied 1-1. This is the winning deciding game. Um,
And I mean, you wouldn't have it any other way,
oh,
Two
of
common
course.
rivals. I think we played these guys 3 times last semester,
Oh,
so
definitely, definitely. No like bad blood or anything. It's just a fun rival.
oh
Um,
yeah, it's
we
always
we've
very competitive, very close. We might have gone to game 3 every time we played them, I
I
think.
think so. Yep. And as a fun little like lore, also High Noon Lucian favorite skin in the game. As a little bit of a lore, uh, in just random solo duo queues, Vector and Dreadful did queue into the mid laner of Bethel, Kedani, for a couple of games and then queued up afterwards. So definitely not like an angry rivalry, just like a little bit of fun to be had between both teams. So just a fun little like tidbit of information going into this matchup.
Oh yeah, and I mean, that's how a lot of these rivalries.
Oh, Lucian is not running first strike. Oh, he's going PTA. Um, okay, the right now. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, yeah.
I just noticed this. Lucian is not going the first strike build that is like insanely meta right now. As you can see, they're taking a little bit of pressure in that jungle, knowing that they have the Blitzcrank pull. Right, you have a lot more invade potential. But first strike on Lucian is actually insane right now. But if we're, I guess, if we're looking into the team comp here, of Valpo, you're not really looking to scale, you're looking for damage, right? Like, granted, you won't get that gold, but there's a reason that First Strike Lucian is so strong right now. It's because of that combo I talked about, right? All of those hits, if done correctly in succession, will give you First Strike proc. So you get like 100 gold per engage on someone, but not seeing it here, I mean, obviously, Tony, he knows better than I do, so I'm gonna default to what he's thinking right now when it comes to his
Yeah.
PTA pick.
And I mean, not getting that gold, but like you said, maybe opting for a more aggressive style, with the Blitzcrank in there. Just let's not scale at all, let's go in, grab them, and get the kills. So.
Yep. I mean, we're seeing the stun here. Just a couple of shots. You do have the conk proc on, or you have the lethal tempo proc on Jax here, but you're seeing Dreadful is just gonna pop that pot. Doran shield and Garen passive. He's going to be full health in no time, right? Just trying to use the Q to get the move speed to run out. A couple of E damages. It's a little bit rough just playing into that stun, especially playing with melees. It's what makes Jax so annoying to play against. But as we'll see later in this game, he'll just start spinning to win. Right, you see the spin right there, and he just keeps spinning through the stun, and we have that early Nunu gank as well. Jax does have to be careful here. He could jump back on Dreadful, but Dreadful is going to get this last slap, almost getting that kill, but not going to be enough as he picks up first blood. The flash as well from Blitzcrank, but the polymorph reaction from Steamroller being perfect. That split-second reaction being just enough to be able to stop Blitzcrank from queuing there.
Yeah, this is another good start for Valpo, First blood over to Dreadful again, avoiding the early pressure in bot lane again. And I mean, they just have to keep it rolling, just like that Nunu Stovall, so.
Definitely. just keep it on rolling. You see Emma Jakimbo landing a huge W here. A huge E there. A W coming out as well. He is running a little bit low on mana here, going with the Doran Shield start, but I mean, that's what you have to do ranged in the melee. Doran Shield is such a strong item right now that if you're not taking it, almost a huge Blitzcrank Q right there. If you're not taking it range, like melee into ranged, you're kind of throwing. You're kind of selling a little bit because of that regen that you get allows that chip damage that range give you to just not be available as like a resource anymore. Talk about health being a resource, and Doran's shield just negates half of that.
Yeah, definitely a very good pickup there. We see both Jakimbo and Dreadful with the shield, and Dreadful doing a little bit of early work there on the Jax after he picked up a kill, but
Yep.
Bethel,
We are going to see the Sejuani jump up here as well, using that scuttle as well. But the silence and the dash away, the stun, it conk procced on Dreadful. Dreadful being a lower level than this Sejuani, but it has to be careful here. You can see the passive regens being so much as he's starting to gain up more. The flash away as well, and the jump, the flash over. Another flash from Jax, but not really moving much there. I think just hitting the incline in the map. The polymorph getting hit out, and Thunk Senpai picking up a kill on the bot side. Jungle just trying to react. Silas walking up to the top, trying to find that Sejuani, but not being able to catch him.
And this is starting off incredibly well for Valpo. Dreadful, getting a little low there, but we see how quickly he's restored it up, and he almost had that kill on Sejuani. That would have been huge if he picked up a second.
Definitely. I mean, we're seeing why he chose this Garen into that Jax, right? That stun does not stop the spin. He can spin right through that stun. It will not stop the damage, and it won't stop him moving. So it's just like it feels better into knowing like Jax's main combo. Jax is gonna walk up a little bit here. He does have to be careful. Elongated fights with Jax running this lethal tempo, never gonna be good, no matter how long you can spin for.
Yeah, and also a good job by Vector, to pick up that first blood. We talked about how he wasn't really present in game one, but man, has he come out in the rest of the series and been a big part of the comeback here for Valpo.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you can see just kind of like the more comfort that he has on Nunu, just on how he's much more of a presence already in this game, right? He's running up, he's making plays, and it just shows he loves playing Nunu, right? Nunu is his character. As much as he loves other junglers as well, I mean, you're seeing you just can't gank mid like this. The flash over just was not as successful, still getting hit by the ball, but still being able to get away. As Emma Chikembo is really low on mana right now.
Yeah, Sejuani also there to, threaten, and not much comes from that engage in mid. And I do have to compliment, Vector's choice in skin. That's the same thing that we have in
Mhm.
Teamfight Tactics right now as a 5-cost champion.
Yep,
So.
Nunu and Willem bot, we love them. And the little sounds that they make too, it's so fun. I don't know, Nunu and Willem never fail to put a smile on my face when I see them in this game.
Oh yeah.
Until I'm mid lane and they gank me like 5 times because that's how Nunu players play.
Yeah, but
But,
now
like-
we're spectating, and they
Yeah,
look very
exactly.
cute,
It's
so,
not
yeah.
me in the mid lane, so I can have fun. I can laugh at people.
Uh-huh.
But there's a couple of shots here, still getting a lot of spin. Jack's doing a ton of damage, but I mean that's kind of what you expect from Jax. There, it did start drag up here. We're gonna have an engage. We have an engage in the top lane as well, but the steal from Nunu. The smite going down, taking that dragon, forcing BU to back up, and kind of a huge engage. Nobody going down, but still going in Valpo's favor, winning them a little bit more of an edge, especially with that Mountain Drake giving that resistance.
Yeah, I mean, picking up first Drake again, this is starting to look very similar to Game 2 with Valpo getting off to a good start. And, I mean, if you're Bethel, you gotta start thinking about, okay, how do we prevent this from becoming the same scenario that happened in the last game? So we see Jax
A couple of jumps here as
diving
well,
in.
but that won't be enough as Jax does R to try and just get the resistances. Obviously working, saving his life there. And Garen just going down.
Yeah, it took a lot, and looks like Valpo's going to try to rotate and catch him out, but I don't know if they're going to get there in time.
Oop, and it looks like he will. And got him. just had to eat him for a little bit there.
And that is a great trade back. I would have loved to know, how close that was, because I was thinking he was going to get that recall off there.
Oh, definitely. I mean, his animation was practically gone by then. But they will see that kill right there may have cleared up Rift Herald for Valpo. At least, again, Nolan's just so active on this map right now. Vector just ganking around, really being a force in this game. And we're seeing its effect right now. Both objectives, 3 lanes ganked, 4 ganked, 3 successfully. I mean, it feels good.
Yeah, I mean, we don't give out player of the games here. I mean, maybe we should start, but Vector, the early
He's playing right now,
contender.
but Dreadful just playing a little bit too hard right now into the jungle. Vector not being fast enough as the Sejuani are ups and hits him, stops him, and kills him.
Yeah, I mean, full credit to this Jax. We talked about how the matchup favors the Garen, but the Jax is able to establish an early lead.
Definitely. I mean, the dash up, we talked about Jax being really strong, especially because Garen does not have that stride breaker yet. That's going to make him really fast, especially when spinning. But, I mean, we just have to wait. As long as we know that Dreadful loves to fight, you know that he loves to jump in and just do damage. So, seeing him kind of just do his thing up there, even if he dies, we know he'll have that impact. So we're not too worried.
Yeah, but you do see why Valpo, went with the Jax first pick. Their only 2 kills in this game so far, definitely paying off as the first pick.
Definitely. I mean, we do have a little bit of a rundown here. Vector got the movement speed. Sejuani just waiting over, probably looking for some kind of dash in. They have to be careful though. Syndra is sitting in that bush kind of waiting for that engage. Probably hovering around a little bit, but it looks like it won't be much as Nunu just kind of falls back to his grump. Just spinning away here. A lot of damage coming out from this Jax. Dreadful just can't really match him anymore. It's just so much, especially with the sheen, with the plated steel caps, and then the ability haste that he gets from Caulfield's. It's just really strong right now.
Yeah, Dreadful definitely going to have to play a little bit more carefully. Don't want to give over any more kills to this Jax, but Valpo's still in a decent position.
Yep, Jax is taking a lot of that CS2 as well. Definitely controlling the game kind of in this top side, forcing Dreadful into this more like passive kind of setting.
Yeah, I mean, it is somewhat concerning. You see big CS leads
And there's a
here.
huge pull as well, to jump up as well. R from Dunk Senpai and the R from Steamroller is not enough as Sejuani stops him. The R coming in from Vector as well. Dunk Senpai flashing in, gliding as well, trying to get this 2. Maybe being able to get the E over the wall, but it's not going to be enough as Lucian follows with the dash and kills. Dreadful jumps down, and it's just going to be a 1-for-1 in this bot lane.
Actually, a 2-for-1 there as Eamon Steamroller did go
Oh,
down at the
Eamon fell out
beginning,
as well.
so,
Yep, sorry about that. 2-for-1.
Yep, a little bit of an advantage there for Bethel, and also a CS advantage in, you know, top and bottom here. So this is a very even game right now.
Definitely. I mean, we just have to be really careful on this top side. We're playing with fire here because one Jax jump in with the E, it probably is enough. It's Jakimbo stealing the Syndra ult, looking for the execute there, but not being able to get it. And there's the jump in that I was talking about. Probably going to be able to walk out here clean. Blitzcrank seeing that vision, not being able to get much. Dunk Senpai got a pretty big wave farming down here on the spot side.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jakimbo wasn't able to pick up that kill in the mid lane a little bit earlier there, because I mean, if we can get him going, that gives you a good out here if you're Valpo.
Oh, definitely. We talked about insurance policy all the time, right? We do have Dunk Senpai got an early lead right now, but still really, really dangerous. You have to look at Bethel's CS leads right now are pretty strong. Here comes Nunu Ball in this bot lane again, getting that E. Probably not going to be able to pick up much. Got the root though as well. Blitzcrank being forced to flash, and that flash is really what you were looking for, not getting caught by that E. Lucian walking up, applying a little bit of pressure, knowing that Syndra's behind, and they're pathing for this drag here. Getting that flash out from that Blitzcrank makes sure that he can't flash out of a bush, make plays. Obviously, is not running Hex Flash here, so not going to be an issue. Showed their hand a little bit early though, Valpo was, and it looks like Bethel's going to just kind of trickle in here and try and lean up, take a little bit more priority before they go for this dragon. Jeffo being backed up here.
Yeah, looks like Bethel, you know, is the one in the river with a little bit of priority, but Valpo's certainly stronger, and here comes the
Hey, here
snowball.
comes the E over the wall and the knockup as well from Nunu. The ult and MF Jakimbo picking up the kill on Blitzcrank, and that's going to be the pick that they needed to try and take this dragon. They're going to maybe look for vision here on the Sejuani over the wall, but that's about it. If not, they're just going to try and speed this run.
And I mean, there it is, the snowball again. Nunu just asserting dominance on this game, 100% kill participation, and claiming 3 objectives so far.
No, I mean, Vector is definitely showing out this game, right? This is what we need when you pick that Nunu. You have to be aggressive, and he's been playing it to a T, right? He's been giving his team advantages. He's been really, really playing hard right now. You do see the Everfrost in that mid for Silas to get that extra lockdown, which makes sense. You have dashes like Lucian, you have Sejuani dash, you have someone that's not slowable. The flash as well coming from Steamroll and the ult from Lucian. Just dodging that Blitzcrank Q, saving a kill there. Lucian ult being down now. Somewhat helpful, but you can just see wave clear now is just insane. Lucian is my favorite ADC to play in this game. Genuinely, just so fun.
And Tony having fun on him too, you know, picking up 2 kills, whipping out that ultimate, and I mean, we can see why he's definitely been a dominant force at all levels.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we see him if Shikimbo did pick up that Sejuani ult as well, kind of looking for the lockdown now. If he hits that, his CC is kind of nasty, because you have that, you have his E, you have the Everfrost, right? It's kind of dirty what he can do now when it comes to actually comboing, but they are going to get forced off of this Rift Herald here. The pull over the wall as well, and then the Syndra stun, the exhaust, forcing the back out. He Everfrost, the R from Sejuani, locking him down. Jax jumps to the back line. Nolan tries to run in. He gets the smite on the thing and runs in, grabs it. Probably will pay for his life here. Dies there. Dunk Senpai is now in the middle of the fight. A huge knockup coming from Chikimbo. Walking up, the ult from Lunu as well, ulting up his damage. Emma Chikimbo jumping over the wall, getting that kill. Jax is now in the fight though, picking up a double kill. What's it called? MF Jackimbo was still in that backline fighting. Lucian has to be careful here. Probably going to get this kill on that Lulu there. MF Jackimbo just running out. Surprised that he's still out. Probably looking to get jumped on here. And there's the death.
So many trades back and forth and back and forth. Ends up going in the favor of Bethel with a 4-for-2 trade, but no one did pick up the Rift Herald.
Yep. I mean, the Rift Herald was the really important part of that fight. I feel like if Valpo had maybe pulled out just a little bit earlier, that Jax just became too much. Right now, 5-2-1 has the Divine, starting to build that armor. Just dirty.
I mean, I'm surprised that Valpo did as well as they did there in that fight, because Bethel did commit all 5 members up the map to that Rift Herald, and you know, it's still a pretty even game. It's not a horrible position here for Valpo.
No, definitely. It's a really, really even game at the moment. Although there's a slight gold lead on Bethel's side, you do have 2 drags up and objective on Valpo's side. So the gold lead is easily attainable back.
Yeah. Once we drop that Rift Herald, we will get a good chunk of that.
Yep. We need Dreadful to start becoming that kind of option in those fights. Right now, as he scales, as he'll probably get a little bit more gold back for his Stride Breaker, we need him to start kind of walking in, because you see how much damage and how much presence that Jax has right now, right, with how strong he is at the moment. That kind of presence is just unmatched. And there's not really anyone that on Valpo's side that can match it, maybe outside of a little bit of burst from the Silas and the lockdown, but even then in sustained fights with lethal tempo, Jax is just unmatched. And we do have the ball coming in on this mid lane here. Such just walking up the dash away from Lucian, just stopping it.
Dreadful just trying to survive against the Jax, hold on for this tower as long as he can.
Definitely. I mean, we're looking at it. Lucian, a couple of shots there. Just looking for vision. Drag coming up in 30. The R coming up from Sejuani, but missing. Yeah, we do have an engage in this mid lane as well, just a little bit, but a couple of skirmishes. We might be able, Blitzcrank might be looking for a pull over the wall here. Pulling the minion, but not being able to hit much.
Yep, Valpo just grouping up here. It's, you know, a 3-on-3 in the mid lane. As we're gonna rotate up Tonk Senpai and drop the Rift Herald. So
We do have the Rift drop right there, just to get a little bit of damage off on that tower. And that damage and pushing him back looks like that's what they're gonna try and start Dragon with. It's still gonna be a huge fight here though. We do have a lot of ults up on both sides here, so Sejuani ult is down. That is an important part that they have to worry about. The Blitzcrank pull, MF Jackimbo stealing the Sejuani ult. The ult coming out from Ziri as well. MF Jackimbo picking up the kill on Sejuani. Ziri picking up the kill on Blitzcrank as well. 2-0 in Valpo's favor right now. Another kill going to Ziri. Jax being forced to walk out and dash out on the ward. And it's going to be a great fight for Valpo going 3-0.
yeah, MF Jackimbo with the stolen Sejuani ult. That's what I was looking for going into the fight, and made a huge difference there, even though Bethel got the hook to open it up.
Definitely. I think one big thing that Valpo called out was that Sejuani had used their ult really recently, right? She threw it out, missed. That's when they knew it's like, all right, we're gonna drop this rift mid, we're gonna force it. And we do have a snowball here, just probably trying to clear wave, not really hitting that Jax much. A couple of shots, but you have to be careful. Yeah, there's the ult as well. And the dodge from Thunk Senpai, it's not going to be enough as the shutdown goes to Lucian after flashing and queuing in.
Yeah, I mean, even though that was a good last fight from Valpo, you still have this Lucian and Jax very fed on the side of Bethel. You know, they're the only two who've even gotten a kill this game. The bounty's up to 600 on Lucian, so
Yep.
both very oppressive forces here for Bethel.
Definitely. I mean, we're seeing the damage that Lucian can really output right now. But we have to be careful. Talking about these next objectives, just team fighting wise, you cannot give this next trap to Valpo. right? You cannot give another Infernal Soul to Valpo. And there's the lockdown as well. The tower going down. The R from Sejuani getting hit. But the R from Lucian being stolen by this Jakimbo here. He's walking up, dashing, flashes out as well. There's the TP from Syndra looking for something. Getting a hit, but not really going to be much other than that.
A lot of action there. You could tell Jakimbo really wanted to go dive in, grab that kill, but all in all, it's not a whole lot happening there. Like you said, I mean, this is really going to become about the objectives. Valpo having the 3 dragons, and you know, you can't really let them get this next one here.
Yep. No, definitely. I mean, being on soul point now is just really dangerous. The R not being able to save him as the full combo goes out, including the ultimate on Steamroller there. Just getting that pick. Really forcing Zeri to back up a little bit. Couple of pings going out. You do have Jax and Silas being matching each other in that bot lane there, which I think is a pretty good way to kind of match this Jax right now. You can't really handle him picking up blue buff and throwing him there. The Q out, not really being able to hit much because the Q on the minion, just trying to heal up a little bit. Dreadful is now there as well. They just have to be careful. Looks like they're trying to defend this dragon here, but it is going to be a 4v3. The pull up on Vector as well, and that's going to be a kill. Lucian killing and ulting right out of it, trying to get a ton of damage out. The TP coming out from Emo Chikimbo, stealing the Sejuani ult. Just going to save it for later, knowing that it still would be a 4v3 even if he threw it and hit it. Because of the TP, Jax was left alone in that lane. The flash in and the pull as well on Dreadful, getting exhausted and then the dash around. Damage just being too much as Lucian picks up another kill. You can just see the Gale Force into Navori's, right? It's the build that we talked about game 1, why Lucian is so strong right now. And it's just insane, the power spike that he gets. You're going to start seeing Lucian dash around the place. Yeah. Every single time. It's just going to be impossible to catch him.
I mean, this game has just shifted in Bethel's favor so quickly. I mean, picking up a couple of good picks there, Dragon just gets the turret in the bot lane, and all of a sudden, Baron's open.
And there's an execute. It looks like Blitzcrank does go down there.
That's not what you want to see, but at least you're going to get the Baron. Definitely a little bit of a misplay there with Blitzcrank dying to the Baron.
Definitely. I mean, we saw Vector hovering around a little bit, but just a couple of shenanigans, I guess. Just walking around. Look at him move.
And, I mean, now that you're Valpo, if you're playing from behind, I mean, this has to be all about locking down that Lucian. Because, I mean, he just is the Bethel team pretty much at this point.
Yep. I mean, Jax is going to keep side laning as he should, right? But you really have to focus that Lucian. I mean, we talked about how Silas has that Everfrost, has the ability to steal ultimate as well. I think that should just be blown on Lucian. Pause. Right now. It's too much to have him dashing around and doing damage. But anyways, as he walks in the jungle here, they are going to take priority, knowing that Drag is up in 30 seconds here. This is what you do. Syndra's going to sit in the bush, probably try and wait and bait someone. There's a lot of damage going out on Vector. Another shot. He is going to go at the ult from Syndra. It's not going to be enough to kill Vector.
But I mean, yeah, you're right. This is what you do. You know, when you have the lead, you just take so much space. Kimbo,
ult as well. Sejuani jumping in and missing as well. Both ultimates coming out. It looks like it won't be enough. Emmett Kimbo trying his best, but just not being able to output enough against those guys as they rotate around. Probably going to take this tower, push it up a little bit, and then go back for that dragon.
Yeah, I mean, this has been all about picks for Bethel. They're just finding these advantageous situations, catching Valpo members, you know, out alone by themselves. And
yep. Looks like they're going to try and collapse on Valpo right now. Valpo is running towards Drag, but it's going to be a really, really tough spot for them to be in. Both ults coming out and the Ghost as well. Zeri just so fast. And nobody going to be able to catch him.
not giving over a kill, but that'll likely be it. The dragon here for Bethel. You just have to play so safe if you're Valpo here.
I mean, you're 3 dragons up, knowing that they have spiked, right? They have power spiked here with that Navori's. You really just can't force this, right? There's no point in forcing this and making your next drag harder, right? By giving them more kills. You just kind of have to let them give it and say, hey, we'll scale up, we'll get them next fight, right? You have to just get them next fight.
Yeah, totally fine to, give that up because not a fight you're gonna win 5-on-5 here right now with that Lucian in the mix. So just keep farming up, just keep playing safe, and hopefully you can get back into this game.
Oh, for sure. As we just kind of reset, get a little bit of an overlook here, right? 5K Gold League going to Bethel. 4 towers to 2 towers favoring Bethel. They kind of have more map control right now. While Valpo does have 3 drags up to Bethel's 1. The more map control that they have, it's going to make it a little bit harder for Valpo to kind of play these rotations that they're used to. But other than that, you just have to play, right? Like, there's no forcing that's going to happen. There's no crazy, like, outplay that you really need to make. It's just you have to let Ziri farm a little bit more. Have to let Ziri hit that 3rd item, right? Get that Bork. It looks like she's building Bork. Get that Bork, get that IE, kind of live that way. Silas just keeps have to playing that. Silas has to keep playing that kind of insurance role, right? You have a lot of lockdown now for Lucian, but it's going to be really, really hard because right now Bethel has done a great job peeling for their ADC, right? So one thing that I have seen throughout these games is that their ADC has a really hard time dying because he'll position himself around the team and the team will play around him. That's what they do. So having a lead on him can be really, really dangerous, but just as big as the lead is, so is the shutdown goal. So
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if that Zeri can keep farming and pick up another item here, which will definitely be a force to be reckoned with. And I'm looking towards, Vector on the Nunu and Jakimbo on the Silas to kind of get those engages and open up these fights for Valpo.
And I mean, we're seeing a little bit of a new build here as well, right? From the Nunu, right? With the Radiant Virtue. Radiant Virtue kind of being one of the sleeper mythics that you don't really think about. Jeffo kind of walking out here, getting a little bit stunned. The TP as well. Sejuani ult coming out, but missing, not being able to hit. The massive pull over the wall on that Jakimbo, but it might have worked against the Blitzcrank's favor as he's trying to run out here. MF Jakimbo getting the dash as well. The ult from Lucian just not being enough as they get the pick. A couple of pings here as well, knowing that Syndra is in that bot lane. You do have the TP coming out from Garen to go clear that wave.
Still, that's exactly what you want to see from Valpo, able to find the pick on Blitzcrank, TP in, catch him off guard as
But I mean, speaking of catching off guard, Vector does get caught a little bit out there, taking half his health, probably going to have to recall.
Still able to get out, and Jakimbo's going to try to do his best against this Jax, hold on to this tower here, but he takes so much damage.
Yep, he just has to be careful. The pull over, and this probably will be it for him as he gets jumped on by both. Here comes Nunu, but it's just going to be a little bit too late. But you do have Ziri there as well to kind of kite around. You get enough damage, the healing from Radiant Virtue keeping her up there as she does get that huge shutdown on Jax. That is a lot of gold going in Ziri's favor, and that's what you're looking for. Bork also being finished. Now she can really start to do this damage.
That shutdown is really big. Gonna definitely extend this game a lot more and give some more power over to the side of Valpo.
Definitely. I mean, now that she has that percent damage on hit, right, she can really start actually attacking that Jax, right? Ziri loves to work front to back, right? We know this. It's why we call her glide, right? It's why she glides a lot, because she shoots front, she shoots front, she shoots front, she slowly backs people up. Now, that's become a lot easier because you have the percent damage that Bork gives you. You have the on-hit true damage that Kraken gives you. So you have these tanks like Sejuani and Jax who now are going to start really taking damage.
Yep, as we see, we're just kind of preparing for this next objective fight here. Fighting over Vision a little bit, clearing out some wards. We're just really all grouped together here, preparing it.
Definitely, they might be looking over the wall. Huge stun from the Syndra there as well. Throw over, but it looks like they won't fully commit to this. Jax does walk up a little bit. Just a Q as well. a couple of shots going out. I mean, another stun that Syndra is just playing angles pretty well here in this fight, but Valpo is now finally grouped, going to start this dragon off. Really what they're looking for here. BU just splitting up on that 5 as well, doing a little bit of the dance here. A huge pull on Vector, the ult as well, and then the ult from Vector, the Radiant Virtue healing going up. Jax getting the pick, but the ult from Garen killing that Blitzcrank as well. Jax jumping to that backline, getting the kill. Lucian getting the kill on Garen as well. Garen, Lulu down. Jax finishing off. Jax being finished off by MF Chikimbo. MF Chikimbo jumping in as well. The Q still have up the E and then the W as well. The healing coming from it. Katani being forced off as Valpo will win that fight with Lucian taking an early back, taking a ton of damage there, but just not being enough. The stun almost hitting, the flash away from it. The pull, trying to get that E in, and just an ult trying to get something, but Lucian is now there. You really just can't fight it anymore. And the pull as well. Oh, and a great Zanya's, and it looks like that will just be enough as Katani does escape that fight.
What a hectic fight. Valpo somehow managing to go 3 for 3 and keep it even. With Jimbo struggling to pick up the Syndra, gives time for Lucian to come back, take him down, and get a 4th kill for
Yeah, but now, I mean, you'll see Lucian will start this dragon. You have the TP in from Jax as well, and that's going to be more than enough damage. But it looks like Valpo is not going to waste time knowing that they're going to go for that dragon. They're probably going to try and path up for this. Oh, I was going to say they were going to path up for this Baron, but it looks like they're just too late.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were thinking going for that Baron, but the damage from Lucian just burned it down so quickly, and now Bethel can look for it, and you almost have to fight for this if you're Valpo.
I mean, you can't give this up, honestly. It's just too much map pressure and lane pressure that they'll have. We might be looking for a steal here coming from Vector.
Vector working around
That's
the back.
just their best chance.
You
But
have
he
the
will
vision.
go around. You have the speed, but I mean the stun is just too much. Now Baron Nashor goes out. The ultimate from Lucian, huge engage. The healing from Radiant Shield going off from Vector. Another ult stolen from Evich Kimbo. The Zanya's coming out from the Zanya's coming out from Jax. Ult from Garen killing Jax here. Another pull. Dunk Senpai starting to glide, killing that Blitzcrank. And then the pull on Sejuani as well, just trying to get the blast cone over. The flash to keep them away. Still running, still just can't be slowed. But the pull eventually kills. The only 2 people that are left are Katani and Lucian with ult, or with Baron. I mean, if you're gonna lose Baron, at least kill 3 of them, right? You at least kill more than half.
I was gonna say, Bethel picks up the Baron, but with 3 members down and out for, almost a minute here, not too much you can do with it, and it's actually Valpo pushing in the midway.
I mean, that is an insanely good fight for Valpo, because as much as you lost from that Baron, you gained just as much by being able to take that tower, right? You gained just as much getting those kills, getting yourself a little bit back on the board, lowering that 5k to a 3k gold lead.
Yeah, and this game is, I mean, it's back on. It was looking a little bad for Valpo for a minute, but they are certainly back and ready to fight. I think the one, excellent thing here for Bethel is the fact that Lucian somehow has not died still. I mean, he's just been so elusive, still has that 70 gold bounty on him, and I don't know. I mean, we're going to have to find a way to kill him if we want to win this game.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we will see MF Chikimbo back here, probably getting another large rod. Oh, no back. Probably just choosing a better spot just to get a little bit more vision. But we do see Bethel start to path up to this top side, and they are going to start hiding in the bush. Oh, no. We might see Vector get a little bit caught out here. It looks like they are on vision here. They do see it. Oh, nope, they don't see it. Vector does get caught out here over the wall. Does get the blast cone out, but will it be enough? And it will be enough. They did just blow 3 ultimates on Vector, and no death there. Pretty good trade for him, but they will take the tower with that Baron. It's going to be really, really tough to try and stop them. They do have Wave pushing in mid, which is good for Valpo, but they can't lose this tower here. Blitzcrank probably looking for a pull over the wall, just someone to separate. It probably won't be much here. Oh, there. Oh, Thunk Senpai does get caught out, and a huge knock up and ult. Jax getting the shutdown as well. Huge pick, and now they're free to push this. There's no reason they shouldn't, honestly. They do have the TP in, they 5-man, they have Baron. They're probably just going to try and run this and finish this game now, to be honest.
Valpo gonna need a miracle
Couple of
fight
shots
here,
in.
down one.
There's a huge shot, a stolen ult as well. Trying to look in, throw that Sejuani ult. Zanya's coming out as well. Lucian picking up another kill on Nunu. And this game is looking a little bit grim as MFG Kimbo pulls over the wall. Steamroller gets the kill from the tower on Sejuani. Sejuani Dreadful picking up the kill on Jax as well, dashing in and flashing, getting the kill on Blitzcrank. Lucian still really playing his mark right now. The ultimate coming out as well. Just so much damage, honestly. If he just dashes away, gets the pull, you have to be careful. MFG Kimbo is back with full health though. Gets the shutdown and gets 2 there. Pulling off a miracle fight in their base here.
Word.
Giving enough shutdowns to him. That's going to be Rabadon's. That's going to at least pull them. And with their death timers, that might be Dragon as well.
Valpo with the ace out of nowhere. Bethel looking to end the game, but some heroics there by Jakimbo and Dreadful.
That was huge. I mean,
wipe them out.
Looking really grim when that first pick did go down to Vector, but just the way that they played that fight, now they're taking that advantage, take all the camps that they can, get the back that they can, try and take this drag, get that soul point, and they're in so much of a better position now. Because although they did lose that one inhibitor, they didn't lose any inner towers. They have soul point now. This is a game to be won. They just can't get this stolen here. And there it is. There's the soul that they were looking for, and it might be the pick on Sejuani as well. Sejuani healing a lot from that Radiant Virtue, but the shot is just too much. Thunk Senpai getting that kill. MF Jakimbo really taking lead in this game.
What is going on in this game, man? Every time I think Bethel is gonna run away with it, Valpo pulls something out of nowhere, and we're back on even.
Definitely. I mean, here's the ult as well. A huge pull in from MF Jakimbo, but probably not looking to hit that E. Just kind of looking to throw it out to get the ability proc. Forcing the back. Yeah, if I'm him, he's sitting on a lot of gold right now. He got the Lucian shutdown. He got the kill. He got the shutdown on the Syndra as well. It's a lot of money sitting under his name right now, and he's just looking to try and spend it. But a huge pull as well. But then he just dashes away by hitting the Lucian. He hits up looking probably for a W, but he's going to be in range of the R as Dreadful's being forced to back, and Valpo really needs to get away right now. They cannot force this fight any more than they already have, or else it might be bad, especially not having Silas on the field.
Oh, I think Steamroller might get tracked down here.
Yep, Steamroller is just kind of running around. Jack's just fully following as they are going to take it down mid here. They have to be careful. They have to at least stall until Silas is back up. But if they can't do that, it's going to be a little bit rough. You have to remember, Lucian is very low right now as well.
Yeah, Bethel trying to move up, look for something, but Lucian's so low, it's really dangerous, and you can't take too much of an advantage. So
he does get red buff now, so he is going to start that passive regen that's so strong. And they're probably going to start Baron right now. And if I'm being honest, Bethel runs this. They get Baron, you go end. You don't do anything else. You have to go end.
Yeah, they're able to burn Baron down so quick. They're going to take the back, full health for this push, and it's going to be on Valpo to pull off another one of those fights in their base.
Definitely. I mean, I think it was that they had such a great fight earlier in their base, and they had that Dragon Soul, but they just overstayed. It just took way too long for them to get that back off. Got way too greedy trying to get that back really deep in base, and it allowed Bethel to just walk back up and kind of do their thing.
As we see Bethel grouping up as 5. Figure out this vision, but I mean, you have the Baron, right? Like,
Yep. I mean,
just gotta pick a lane and push if you're Bethel, I think.
Yep. I mean, quite frankly, you have to just start shoving in waves, if I'm being honest. They probably don't want another like situation in base, so they're probably trying to push up this bot wave here, knowing that the inhibitor's up but tower's down, right? Just looking to push a little bit, making sure that no wave starts to push into them. And they might be just looking for a pick here, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely playing it very safe, very passive. They don't want to get caught off guard like they did last time.
Yep.
as we're starting to see these waves crash into Valpo's base, and they are going to push up in bot lane.
Yep, and they are. Everybody's gonna rotate back a little bit here. Do have the ball, and then they are thrown up as well on the Jax, but the R on the Sejuani hits, hitting Vector. The Zanya's coming in from MS Kimbo. The ult as well, trying to save someone. Jax jumping back in, getting the stun on Dreadful. Not gonna be enough. Sejuani does get the shutdown. Another huge jump in. Jax picking up a kill. Syndra getting the third one as well. Syndra picking up a fourth, and that's gonna be an ace, and that's gonna be game. Bethel University picking up the 2-1 win in this series against Valpo. I mean,
And
you saw in
man,
that last game, crazy just going in, going back, going in, going back, but just overall really competitive, really competitive first week of NECC. And I mean, hey, people came out the gate strong,
I
right?
mean, yeah, what a way to open up the season. We always knew it would be good when we saw Bethel on the schedule, but I mean, man, did that series deliver. Bethel
hmm
ending up just slightly the better team. Valpo really did give it their all there in game 3.
Definitely. I mean, it was just a little bit more coordination when it came to that side, right? Playing around a little bit more of their teammates, just getting caught out a little bit less than honestly, like those little plays in the jungle of like one person getting picked, two people getting picked really finished this game because the team fights were there for both sides. The team fights were really even, I would say, but that 1 to 2 pick, especially with the Blitzcrank pick that I had, that we mentioned earlier, right? With that Blitzcrank being able to pull, gets a couple of picks, it just became way too much for Valpo to handle, and that finished off the series. But
Yeah,
we want to thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for all the support, and go Valpo.
we'll see you next time.